Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have unfiltered, uncensored, uncomfortable conversation.
Hi, I'm Eric Prince, traditional show style coordinator for U.S. Bands. Very excited for what we have coming down the road. To reflect on the past, our initial contest that we had at Prairie View A&M with Dr. Timmy Zachary was very successful. Excited for 2022. We're going to start in Montgomery, Alabama with Professor Brandon Howard out of Huntington College. Then we're going to return back to Texas at Prairie View A&M with Dr. Timmy Zachary. And then we're going to head up to Virginia State with Professor Taylor Whitehead. And then we're going to finish up 2022 back in North Carolina with my peer here, Mr. Gary M. Bryant.
Guess what? 2023, we got more exciting things coming your way. We're going to Nashville, Tennessee. We're going to go down to Shreveport, Louisiana, Jacksonville, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina, and we got one more, Jackson, Mississippi. So get ready. Here we come.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU, band culture, music education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel. We got Maya. We got Quan. And in normal fashion, I am going to say that Portia is going to join us after she gets out of band practice. I'm assuming that. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen. All right, man. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off like we always do. It was an interesting weekend this weekend. Lots of performances. So I'm going to start right on Maya. And what'd you see this weekend? Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, anything. You got it first.
I don't have no questions. It was just a lot of footage to look at. It was a lot of footage to look at. But I mean, from the things that I did see, I don't have any like big L's or anything like that. I'm just excited about the conversation because I'm pretty sure we're going to like kind of dig into it. But I mean, as a preface, I think it might be an okay season. It might be a good season based off of what I saw. But I'm excited to get down into the nitty gritty. I say that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What you saying?
I said, is that fair?
No, but I'm gonna accept it for right now.
Okay, so okay, challenge me. What's not fair about it?
No, I'm just saying. I thought you were gonna go in depth with what you saw on different joints, but it's okay.
Oh, I mean, so apparently there's some with the home team. I don't know what the hell is going on. Apparently, Twitter, YouTube, or whatever, the inside and the outside, it's some shit going on. I don't know if we're gonna probably talk about that. I guess so. Maybe I don't really know. I think that they did the same or minor changes to the same show that they did at the Ballad of Bands or the National Ballad of Bands, which, it's fair. I said either, they're just putting something out there and we're going to get something different for the TSU battle or maybe not. Let's see. Alabama State, I still feel the same way that I did last week. Singing wise, they really put on a show this week. Jay Sets, I think that they put on a fair show this week. I'm not too sure about how I truly feel about the uniform that the new uniform, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Who else did I see? What did I see? I don't know. I was too focused trying to do my homework that you sent me. making sure that I did my homework.
Well, I'm glad you did do your homework. You're a studious person. I do
Thank
appreciate
you. I appreciate it.
it. All right, Quan, what about you, brother?
I saw just a lot. My thing is, I saw a lot. I saw Labor Day Classic, of course. TSU PV. I've also saw Alabama State. I really, really like that Erica Badu version of "Didn't You Know." I think that's going viral around. Them trombones, them boys eating, like for real, for real. Like for real. I saw I saw JSU, of course. I really looked at I really liked the Southern Florida Memorial Battle for what it was. I just truly respect that you had another school that, despite being smaller, they stayed true to themselves. And there was aspects of them where it was like, man, if they get some numbers, they're going to be a force to reckon with in a few years. So yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know if this happens normally, but it was a lot of performances, like a lot of performances, some of which we didn't even mention. I know the HU battle was this weekend. I don't know if anybody saw that. Howard Hampton. I know that LU Lane played. I forgot who Lane played this weekend. I think Langston had a performance this weekend. So it was just a lot of performances. What I'm gonna say on all of these performances, and I'm kind of gonna piggyback off of what Maya said, it's gonna be a really good and interesting season, to say the least. There are some people in some new seats that are coming out, and I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, and I'm thinking they're doing a good job. There are some of those who are coming back, and we want to see what they have for this year. And despite it all, I think it's going to be a very, very good season. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I ain't even gonna. There's just a couple of things that I'm just not gonna touch. Go ahead, Maya.
Is this normal? Because when I was looking at some of the footage and you brought up some things that I couldn't even think of, I was like, damn, everybody had a game? Literally everybody had a damn game. And I'm like, is that normal? Or it seemed like it's usually like balanced. It's one weekend and the next week.
Right. It was super abnormal. I mean, like,
everybody, like, what the hell? I can't even put my finger on it. Okay.
Yeah, because
I just want to make sure it wasn't me.
If you really think about it, we had 2 full weeks of band, like going from the national battle of the bands,
for sure,
going to this Labor Day Classic. It like everybody either had exhibition showcase or their own personal Labor Day Classic. So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never really heard Southern playing this first weekend.
Yeah. And I thought it was interesting to have FMU play Southern. Yeah. I thought that was just interesting because just from being introduced to FMU, like that's kind of like we just kind of heard about them, and then they all of a sudden get a Southern game. So it was kind of like, how did this happen? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I can't agree. I do appreciate the fact that they stayed in their lane, and they didn't try to out Southern. They just did what they did. I'm also going to say the same thing about Jackson and what was it, Jackson and FAM? That Jackson and FAM, I appreciate it for what it was. It was Jackson and FAM, and Jackson, and that's just pretty basically what it was. Like I didn't get anything different from that. And then Justin was at one of those performances. I can't remember which one I saw him at. He was running in front of somebody. I don't remember what game it was. But then the Alabama State game, it was Alabama State and Miles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So and just straight up, like I like Alabama. I'm becoming a slow Alabama fan. Like, and in all fairness, I didn't like Alabama for a long time, but no, these last couple of years, definitely Very, very shocked at how great they sound and how good they're doing. Oh, go ahead.
You know what's crazy? It's like pre-COVID, they had a different sound. And post-COVID, it's like they sound even better. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go to like pre-COVID, when I think they played a song called like Ho Check, like it was a gym battle. It was bad. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of overblowing. It was just bad. However, like now, like I said, I don't know what happened. Maybe, like COVID was beneficial to them to where they just was able to slow down and be like, hey, this is the sound that we want to develop. And man, they're forced to be reckoned with. And can I be honest? They don't really sound like anybody.
They don't. That's a very fair analysis. Now I do have a question. Did Miles get smaller?
Yeah. Okay. They did. They
Right.
very much so did. And I'm not gonna lie, it's like out of they were the CIAC, right?
I think they are the CIAC. I know that. I don't think they're CIAA. I mean not CIAA.
Yeah.
But I know they ain't MEAC, so I think they are the CIAC.
So it's like what's crazy is for years they were like the small college with a big band, right? And I don't know, what happened, what transpired or took place, but that ain't the same Miles that was battling PV in 19.
I can agree with that.
So,
and I mean, and honestly, and I don't know if people remember this, I just remember Miles from back in the day when they were known for playing Dirty Diana. Yeah. That was the Miles I remember. Yeah, that's what I remember until
that one hangover trumpet that used to piss. Yeah.
And then Norfolk started playing it, and then I felt like we kind of took it over from then. But hey, look, compare best years. That's just my personal opinion. Hey,
you talking about 09 Norfolk?
Yeah,
that's not comparable. Yeah.
So, but no, I when I was watching it, I just was like, dang, did they get smaller? I don't know if unless I'm tripping, but I guess you confirmed that they did get smaller. And then I did watch the HU battles. I know a lot of people probably didn't pay attention to that. If you didn't, I mean, Smith's on you. I did pay attention to the Howard Hampton battle, the real HU battle. What I will definitely say is respect to both programs. I think both programs are going in pretty good directions. I got to say it again though, man, that Howard uniform throws me off. But you know what? And I may be completely wrong, but I think the uniform is supposed to be like patriotic and like a homage to DC. When I was watching, I was like, because what reason would you have to come up with that weird outfit? I mean, it's just. But when I look at it, it looks like it's a tribute to DC in some type of patriotic manner. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm going with, and I'm gonna stick with it because it rationalizes the awkwardness of that uniform. So yeah, I will say, I do respect those two groups. I think they did a good job. And then obviously you get down to the PV Texas Southern thing, which my timeline was going nuts on it. What I will say, there's a couple of things I'm gonna say. One, if anybody didn't watch the field show, kudos to Texas Southern and their field show. 100%, very, very creative. The appreciation to the school and the district. So all of that. PV, I'm sorry, people may agree or disagree, but whatever. I don't really care. PV on the field, I'm sorry, sounded good. If you watch the field show, PV on the field sounded good. I don't care what anybody else says. You can say whatever you want to say. They sounded good. So both respect to both programs for what they presented on the field show. There's a lot of controversy going on about what happened in the stands and blah blah blah. Look at here. I will be as honest as I possibly can. And I will say this. They were good battles. And I'm gonna leave it at that. They were both good battles. I think that Brian Simmons coming out from not being seen for a while. I think he did a really, really good job of the presentation that he put on, and I'm not going to take anything away from him and that brother for what he's doing over there and what's going on in that program. The Storm, I always, and I think that we always say this, the Storm is going to be the Storm at the end of the day. I think personally, if you really go back and you listen to it, and then there's the other thing too. I also want to judge because people will be like, yo, they sounded this way, but remember this, it sounds different in person. And I talked to some people who were there in person who said, yo, PV sounds amazing. So, my thing is PV sounded fine to me. Matter of fact, PV, when it comes to balance, blend, intonation, and all that, I'm going to say that they sound better than Texas Southern. Now, does that mean I think that Texas Southern sounds like trash? Absolutely not. But when PV is on it 100%, playing the music the right way, confident in their music, to me, I don't think that they can be touched. So there's my opinion. That's my opinion. That's where I'm gonna leave it. All right. We ain't, because this episode ain't about that. So yeah, there it is. Yo.
So as a Prairie View alumni, let me say this. I think I'm trying not to be long-winded with it, but you got to look at it from several different point of views, because I've been thinking about this as well. Because I know people going to be like, people going, they're Prairie View alum, like real Prairie View alum. We really crossed the flagpoles, myself and Maya. So what's our opinion on it? My opinion on this. First and foremost, as a band director, as a musician, and as a former alumni, as an alumnus of Prairie View, we have to understand this. We're comparing it from a three-dimensional perspective when we look at Labor Day Classics. So number one, I'm going to compare it when I march. I'm pretty sure Maya is going to do the same. Secondly, we're going to compare it from the time frame of when we left and then specifically right now. So three-dimensional. So for me, I'm comparing the best version of TSU that I saw and witnessed, which was, in my opinion, 2006. I don't think nobody was touching that ocean at all, period, right?
That was after Katrina TSU, right?
Right.
Yeah,
so ain't nobody, 06, 07, I don't care what you say, like they were running the sweat. We can be honest about that, for sure, 06, right? So keep it pushing. So then you look at this gap between 2010 to, I say, about last year. We're going to be honest, TSU was going through it. They had administrative changes, band director changes, so forth and so on. They even had president changes. So that program was going through some things. And honestly, that wasn't the best version of Texas Southern, in my opinion, right? Now you have Brian Simmons coming on his sophomore campaign. I think this is the best version of TSU we've seen, in my opinion, in about 10 years. I can round it up possibly 12. If you're just going to compare from that time frame. And kudos to him and to his staff to take nothing away, right? I also look at it from the point of view of, if you look at Prairie View has been the top 5 bands, one of the top 5 bands, I believe, in HBCU over the last 10 years, while under Dr. Zachary's tenure. But that's just my thing. So can both parties improve on some things? Absolutely. But to just be like, hey, they got dogged out, nah. But
I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that.
But I'm gonna say, I said all that to say this. The reason why my hashtag today is check your affiliation is, where I come from, your affiliation, honestly, Matt, means a lot. It's like a line drawn in the sand for certain things specifically. And I gotta say this as an alumnus of Prairie View, is because TSU, like, they own it. And I think TSU this year specifically, they have a different energy than years previously. And that's from the drum line to the band. I think Brian Simmons and his team has captivated, like, hey, like we're hungry, because maybe they felt like they were on the bottom for so many years. And when you're a top tier band, like, I think about it from the perspective of like Rocky 3, which is my favorite one, with Clubber Lang, with Mr. T and Rocky. Mr. T was hungry. I could fight him with bare knuckles because I'm hungry. And I think they have that type of ism or spirit right now over that band, which that's what's up. My whole thing is, I see a lot of TSU people, talking yada yada. I only say this to my Prairie View people. When you talk about your own house, you're giving leeway for other people to do the same. At the end of the day, I have an issue with that. And I'm speaking about this because that entire Prairie View staff has not only been brotherly and sisterly, but they've looked out for me. They've looked out for my program. And I know they may not say it and they may not even give a damn about it. But I'm crossing the line in the sand to check my affiliation. That's my people. And I feel like what people are doing, exacerbating them, and it's not criticism, it's disrespect when you just merely talking about somebody and you don't even know them, or you don't know the background situations and so forth and so on. It goes past ban to be personal attacks on people, and I feel like that's disrespectful. So my whole thing is, when it comes to Prairie View gonna be Prairie View, and Prairie View gonna be all right. Dr. Zachary, give him his kudos. He's graduating more graduates out of that band program in the last 10 years than we've seen in the 80-year history of the marching band. Like, he's doing his job above and beyond. National exposure, so forth and so on, sponsorship, all of the above. My thing is this, for our house as Prairie View, and I was sitting back thinking about this and just chopping it up with a few people, you'll never hear a Juke talk about another Juke, even if he was sorry in his eyesight, not publicly. You will never hear a person from the Boom talk about another person from Jackson State publicly. They may do that behind closed doors. I thought about it, even Grambling. We laugh and talk about Graham, but you've never heard those people excoriate in one another on a public forum, like I seen the other members from Prairie View. And most of those dudes that's excoriating each other were horn holders, because I seen it. But that's a whole different topic. But just bottom line, we got to do better as a Storm family. We got to do better overall. And like, it's just truly disappointing. It's a game, bro. Like, it's one game. Keep it pushing. And I don't think they just did that bad, but we have to support one another in a better manner than what we did this past weekend. I'll leave it at that.
So you're coming, and for clarity, you're coming from an alumni perspective.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you at all. Some of the sentiments that you just argued were some of the sentiments that I, myself, and Rick have argued and we're arguing many a times. So, it's really interesting to hear you have that conversation and just bring that up, because you're absolutely right. I will tell you, good, bad, or indifferent, if the Legion, whatever the Legion does, you ain't gonna hear me talk about it in a negative way. I'm gonna always say, well, they could have did blah, blah, blah a little bit better. But I'll never be like, man, they was some trash, dog. Like there's a level that I'm just not gonna cross. Now, if I call my boy, if I call Rick, or if I call one of the old Dizzies, and I'd be like, hey man, that's a whole nother conversation. But
right.
I agree, man. But I think that I can't even say that. I can't even say that's a pride thing. I don't know where that comes from, or what invigorates somebody to be able to say those kind of things or do those kind of things in a public forum. I don't know.
Well, for me, like I say, me and another alumnus,
illness.
But you know what it really is? It's you're trying to still prove your glory days of when you were good, and like that's
you gotta be good to have good days.
Right. But I mean, and that's true. But see, but here's the thing. A lot of the people are talking, and we just gonna be in Maya's word, one thou wow, which should be a shirt. My whole point is this: like, I've seen some of y'all. I'm not about to walk around and make it seem like, man, Quan was the coldest one that walked through them doors. Nah, they have some cold individuals, but let's be real. A lot of these people that's talking, if you was an arranger, some of your arrangements didn't hit the podium. If you want to be 1,000, some of the cadences that you tried to make didn't make it, bro. Like we have this culture. I just saw it. It says internet gangsters, but it's crazy that you're being internet gangster with your own people. Like that's why I say my hashtag for the rest of the day gonna be check your affiliation, because your affiliation could determine a whole bunch of stuff where I'm from. That's all I'm saying. So my affiliation, I'm an alumnus of Prairie View A&M University. Dr. Zachary is like a big uncle. Anything that I've asked him and asked of him for advice, he's always came through. If I asked B Hop for an arrangement, say, bro, it was there. If I asked him for a recommendation, it was there. When I asked Miss Shawn to speak to my dancer, she was there. Man, that's some good people. My thing is, it's okay to have an opinion. But my thing is, why not come? Because Dr. Zachary has an open door policy. If you have an issue, go there. But don't make it seem like what you're saying is from the heart and you publicly blasting. Because I'm going to be real. If you come up in these alumnus from Worthing come through these doors and all you want to talk about is back in my day, and you're not trying to donate water, say, bro, you can move around with that. Like, I think that's the problem. Because if you haven't built anything, if you ain't built nothing from the ground up, it's easy for you to point fingers. Remember, you just said last week, Luke, Prairie View used to fit inside the band hall in one picture. And now they can't even fit inside the auditorium. Man, that man built that. That's Prof. Edwards' auspices, but that's his house. So respect that man, bro. That's all I'm saying. Y'all take it too far. That's all I'm saying.
And on that note, I don't know if anybody, have you seen that picture, Quan?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you had seen it.
Yeah. I remember that picture. Black Fox is on the bottom.
We don't need to show it. We don't need
I'm about to pull it up. I'm ready.
Please don't cue it up, Lord.
But I'm just saying, like we know that behind that KK sidewall it was only a certain amount of feet, and if your band fit from one side to the next to where now, come on, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it goes to a point where it's like I wouldn't blame Dr. Zachary for not being welcome because you're talking about my baby that honestly somebody gave to me, or I received it for somebody else, and then I nurtured it into what it is today. Like, you know, the countless hours we invest in this as band directors, the late night sleeps and trying to figure out how to rob Peter to pay Paul, because these are kids in the end of the day. That's my thing. It's about the kids. It ain't about your glory days. It ain't about your ego. It's about the kids. My thing is, everybody that's talking crap, have you really gone back to be like, hey, say B-Hop, hey, check out this arrangement, man. Play it if you want. Because there has been alumnus that has arrangements that's been played instead of you talking about them. That's all I'm saying. Like, I just feel like criticism becomes criticism. I mean, to criticize a person when you don't offer a solution or a resolution to it. That's all I'm saying. I'm done with me.
Yeah, you didn't drop the gavel, my brother. So real quick, because you did say something that actually ties into what we're talking about today, but I have to bring this up. There's very few times I used to do it a lot, but there are very few times that I do that or do this now because I have Portia and I have Maya now who are available to give feedback. But I gotta say this. Out of all the bands that I watched, there were two groups that stood out specifically for me, and Maya's going cross-eyed trying to pick something off her hat. But there were two groups that stood out to me. One was definitely the Foxes. I don't know, what's her name? Shelby. That girl, they're talented.
Yeah.
And creative.
Yep.
She did some stand with her hand at it and she snapped that bad boy back. And I was like, whoa. I had to watch it like 4-5 times because I was like, is her arm broke? Did she break her arm or something? But hey, she killed it. And the girls are looking good. I'm just gonna say it, and not in an old man way. I'm saying like
don't be a dirty old man.
Yeah, I ain't not a dirty old man perspective. I'm just talking
not 2 weeks in a row.
Not 2 weeks. I can only give 1 week. But no, not from that perspective, but definitely from a dancer quality of look, all of that perspective. I was like, yo, this looks all right. All right. And then they came back with the Janet Jackson daddies with the all black. I was like, hey man, y'all doing it. Them and the Stingettes. Now, let me say this. What was her name? Brianni. Look at here.
Dirty old man vibes creeping up.
It is. I can tell you right now. All right. I'm gonna let you know. I ain't gonna go too far. But you know, I remember Brianni because only reason why I remember her is because I started watching them during the COVID season when they hit the Max Daddies, And the only thing I could see was her eyes. I just like, she has nice eyes. So then that's really when I started paying attention to the Stingettes the most. But no, the new captain and the squad themselves, they're doing a really good job. They look great. And if I remember, they were supposed to be going through some issues or something. You can't tell. You cannot tell.
Can I say this? And I hope it's not blasphemous to Maya, but the motion look good too. Like real talk.
I can agree to that too. Yeah, I can agree.
Now I'm with you when you're right now, y'all. Y'all ain't said nothing wrong yet. You ain't said nothing wrong now.
Motion look good, man. And for real, like
for sure. Like that's what I was saying last week. Like Danny, she's in her bag. And so I was not aware that she leading that shit by herself, from my understanding. Right? So previous years, or I think last year, I think it was Germany and Danielle, because I think she was still cheering for the Saints, and it was kind of like a half in, half out type of ordeal ish. But nah, when they released their that video, maybe a week or two weeks ago, when Motion released that video, I knew it was up, because I was like, we may have some problems. It may be some problems in Texas, because wow. But no, homegirl is literally doing her thing. And that's when I say that kind of goes about with conversations that we've had in the past. Like, if you have somebody that's from the outside, can they come in and actually do a good job? Someone who was not in the particular organization. When it comes to the arts, I think that it's doable. It's doable. That just goes to you being a student, right? You being teachable, you being flexible, you being able to kind of mold your craft to be able to fit whatever narrative you needed to fit in. And I think that Danny's a true testament to that, because those girls are clean. They bringing out some shit, some moves that I was like, okay, it's giving very much Motion, but it's giving Motion, I don't know, modernized Motion. I don't know. It's just it's not even something I can name, huh?
I said Motion 2.0. There you go.
Maybe not even that. Like, it's something about it. It's clean, it's crisp, and it's exciting. And I said that 2 weeks ago or last week that I was excited to see the Motion. It's been a while since I've said that. Now, the home team TV, I said this on. Did I say this on here? I don't know if I said this on here or the feature.
You said it on your show. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I said this on the feature. But Shelby, when I said that girl has some creativity and she has some damn musicality out this world, sharing locations, it was 0 quarter. Now, I'm going to say a little something. Now, the band's arrangement of it, I liked it. I like a little something that's a little ignorant, something that's a little outside the box. I think they're sharing locations. I don't know what the hell that song is, to be honest with you. I only know the name of it because I saw the caption. Okay. Apparently it's a Meek Mill song, sharing locations. I've never heard it. I don't really know. But the count that Miss Shelby threw right before, there was like I don't know. It was something dynamic that was happening, something climactic that was happening. I said, okay, yeah, we in for a ride. And so that sealed the deal of me thinking like, no, Miss Girl has some creativity. She has some flexibility that's out this damn world. She has some musicality that's out this world. And she really going to put on a show. She has the confidence, because at the National Battle of the Bands, I was a little, not concerned, but I was a little bit like, okay, there's always that spot where you have to get comfortable. She's a little bit more comfortable this week than she was last week. Or at least, or maybe it's excitement, maybe it's the environment, whatever it is. She was a little bit more comfortable this week. Now, those Stingettes also, yes, they have a lot going on. We also have our first, people have been calling it Sting Doll, right? So we have one young lady, she was a dancing doll for 2 years, and now she's rookie, freshman, whatever they call it at Alabama State. She's a first year as a Stingette at Alabama State, which I think is amazing. Some people have all the plight and the whatever about it. Shut your ass up, because do you know how hard it is to make one collegiate team? Better yet, 2. Child, please. Do your thing, girl. Do your thing. But they're clean, they're crisp, the uniforms are on point, the field shows, wow, my goodness. Miss Leah, she's when I tell you it's giving very much alter ego. You know how you have Beyonce and you have Sasha Fierce, and you kind of see her transition. Yeah, Miss Leah, the captain. Yep, she's doing it. I'm excited. I'm ready.
Yeah, you seemed really, really excited.
I ain't been pumped about a season in a while.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of pumped about this season.
I could see, and that's good. I mean, like I said before, I think we've all said it. This is going to be a really good season, just from top to bottom. I just can't wait. I honestly can't wait to see Norfolk, and their first show.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait
That's
to
next
see
week,
them.
right?
Huh?
Next week.
I believe so. I want
to say Portia said they didn't have a game.
Yeah, last week was their bye week. Yeah. Portia, that was the other group. That was the other performance that we didn't talk about. The Aggie Eagle Classic, A&T and Central, North Carolina Central. Those that we didn't mention that either. That was last week as well. I watched. See, I tried to watch everything, man.
Man, so I need to go back and watch it, but I seen Central was chasing after Cold Steel. I was like, what? I ain't thought they had it in them. Not chasing Cold Steel. Just saying, bro.
Hey, man, when you hungry, you hungry, man. I'm telling you. When you hungry, you hungry. It just is what it is, man.
That boy Chuck say don't do it. I'm just saying. I just never seen it. I'm just saying. No lie. Ain't no way you gonna chase me to the bus. We would have been like MD and Cold Steel when they had that fight on the track.
A&T tried to do that to us my freshman year, so you know.
But you know, when y'all two get together, it's always a fight. Y'all know that, right?
It ain't always a fight.
Pull up the footage, bro.
We never fought A&T, at least during my time.
MD fought Cold Steel, bro, on the track.
I don't remember. That probably wasn't during my time.
Nah, it wasn't your time, but they fought.
Okay, well then that negates what you just said. You say every time we get together.
Them your folks.
That's your people.
Hey, look, I told you the story about Old School Legion. So hey, it is.
Look, if we still responsible for that PV Southern fight.
You feel me? Take your charge, bro. Take your charge.
I will tell you about this. Hey, it's actually, well, there's a little truth in that though. Chuck, there's a little truth to that. We don't got no, you know, when we in the uniform, we don't got that much home training. There's only a little bit that you can do to us before, you know, we snap. But I will tell you, if you really want to be honest, y'all homecoming folk, because we thought my freshman year that we was gonna have to scrap that year, because y'all homecoming people is on a whole nother level.
What you mean?
A&T?
Oh, okay.
They spectators? Oh, shoot. No, bro. To me, it was the equivalent to what we experienced at FAM, and we fought at FAM in 05.
How many fights you had? How many band fights you had, real quick?
No, we only had, well, if you don't count the band and the football team.
What?
So how many is that?
I mean, in total, all of my years, probably about 3. If you count the band and the football team.
Oh, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot, bro. Y'all really wanted to smoke.
No, it's not that we wanted to smoke. It was the football, because you know how the football team be trying to act. They be trying to bogart you because they the football team and you the band.
We really don't know because they stopped for us.
Can't relate.
We saw that recently where like it was a Jackson State person that had tried to like walk through. It was like we would have beat that boy ass.
But that's what happened. See, I don't know about that. That's what happened the last game in spring 17 at UAPB. Football dude tried to get upset because they lost the game, and then there was a lot of stuff happened. A lot of people don't know PV band fought that day. A lot of people don't know that. All right, but we digress because that was a long time ago. All right, so let's go ahead and keep it moving. I'm gonna go ahead and block that out to make sure nobody hears it. But no, let's go ahead and keep it moving. So one of the things that you brought up was, well, we all brought up at some point was it's about the kids. It's definitely about the kids. And I don't know if anybody else saw the Roland Martin video, but when I tell you, many of people were sending it to me. Hey man, y'all need to talk about this. Hey man, did you see this? Hey man, you got to talk about. So many people sent it to me, and once I actually watched it, it definitely made made me realize, yeah, we got to have a chat about this. So here we go. Let's start from the top. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like button. And also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network. This episode will be up on all your podcasting networks. Just type in Real Talk That Talk, except for Apple Podcasts, where you type in Real Talk That Talk. It'll come up for you. Also, please make sure you check out the Patreon. Hey, as far as the Patreon is concerned, I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about them right now. Are we doing it by you, yay or nay?
We can talk about it. We can talk about it. Sure.
We'll talk about it. But so if you hit the Patreon, Daddy, that means you get exclusive access to where we're gonna be in New Orleans if we go to the Bayou. So understand what that means.
That concerns me.
Don't let it concern you. Don't let it concern you. I'm telling you.
Because Houston was a time in itself. New Orleans.
Exactly. We're gonna have a time. I'm telling you.
No, it ain't gonna be a time.
Quan gonna get us right. Let's just put it that way. Quan gonna get us right. He gonna make sure we do all the necessary things
because we gonna need them.
Yeah. So y'all go check out that Patreon, man. I'm telling you, it's worth it. All right, here we go, man. Let's go ahead and talk about this. So if you haven't seen the Roland Martin video, actually the video starts off where it talks about what are they called? Advisors to the football team, and the team giving, or the advisor to one of the star players on FAMU's team giving bad advice, which allowed him to not be able to play. But then it also moved forward into talking about the treatment that the 100 received when going down to play. I think it was UNC. They drove down on the bus, the charter bus, from Florida to North Carolina, did the performances, did many performances, plus did the game, then got back on the bus, headed back, had a box lunch, which was supposedly cold, and kept on trucking it all the way back to Florida. And one of the things that Roland Martin was talking about was he was really appalled. And I started thinking as I was watching this. So let's go ahead and bring up this first topic. And I thought I did that better. Hold up, let me rewrite that. Here we go. All right, here we go. Should the face of the university receive better treatment? Should the face of the university receive better treatment? Now, let's be real. You already know I'm talking about the band. Because in most historically Black colleges and universities, your band program is the face of the university. That's the first thing that any admin put out there. That's the first thing that everybody wants to say. Hey, look at our band, baby. We go to Honda, all them daggone presidents is right there. We go to they go to National Battle of the Bands, all the presidents is right there. That's my band, right? So should the face of the university receive better treatment? Maya.
Oh, child. I had a time with this damn segment because, to be honest with you, I've experienced the very left side of treatment as well as the very right side of treatment, ranging from my time at PV all the way, Townview all the way through PV, right? So absolutely, yes, because one thing I would like to signify is that people like to separate the sports team athletics from the band. If we want to get down to the nitty gritty, if we want to get down to the definitions of it all, bandsmen, people in the band are athletes. If we want to get down to it, band is a goddamn sport. I have my dictionary pulled up right here if I need to go through the damn definition of it all. So yes, absolutely. Because when you think about it, what's loud, what's proud, what signifies camaraderie, what signifies the university's everything, that whatever this is about a university is the damn band. You know what I'm saying? And so whenever there's something, whether it's a groundbreaking, whether there's something that's in Timbuktu, whether somebody received a scholarship, whether what have you, who do they send? The band, right? They don't send the quarterback. They don't send the football team. They don't send whatever. So absolutely the university, the band should receive the best treatment because, and we've had this conversation over and over, the band is one of the most largest recruitment assets of the university itself. The band is always one of the the biggest thing that brings in so much money about a university or attracts the university, or attracts people to a university. So absolutely, they should receive better treatment from. No, band is a sport. Wait now. Hold on. Let me pull up. I guess we can.
You should have finished your thought first. Good Lord, because you were getting to the period of your thought, and then
because that just upset me. An activity involving physical exertion and skill, in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. Whether something is categorized as a competition or not, there's still a competition, right? So, okay, I feel what you're saying. Let me pause on that. I got you. Let me go back because I'm gonna pick up on this, but let me go back. Band is definitely a sport, but when it comes to an institution, yes, absolutely, the band should be treated and should continue to be treated with bells and whistles, or red carpet treatment, whatever you consider that to be. It should definitely be that, because the blood, the sweat, the tears, the amount of, at the drop of a hat, something's going on in the university. We just learned about it on Wednesday. It's Thursday, or it's Wednesday afternoon. Who are they gonna call? The band. Please show up. Please play something. Please do something. We have people coming on campus. We need y'all to show up and show out. Period. Yes, the band is the top tier premier, or one of the premier, if you want to talk about football, depending on the university or what have you. But at the end of the day, everybody knows who the band is, and they should be treated as such. And that's what I'm used to. And that's why I had a problem with that, because there have been times where I've experienced the latter as well as the former, of being able to be treated or have a substantive type of experience in the band, comparing to the blood, sweat, and tears that I've dispensed to be able to be a part of this said organization. But it's, we can get down to it. I'll leave it at that for now.
Okay, we'll put a period on it. We'll come back. We're gonna come back to
now
it.
because I'm upset. We got to revisit.
Hey, we're gonna come back to it. We're gonna come back to it.
Okay, all right.
Kwan, should the face of the university receive better treatment?
We should, but pending that administrator, I don't see that we will. So if you look at this article or vlog from Roland Martin alone, FAMU is FAMU. You wouldn't, when you say FAMU, it is compatible with the Marching 100. We're talking about a historical Black college and university band program that, if it wasn't for really them, where would we be? You know what I'm saying? So if they're treating them like that, how many other universities do you think is getting treated like that? I just made the example of how band directors have to rob Peter to pay Paul for scholarships. How many band directors, they got to fight for buses for events? Think about our university along Prairie View. The kids are practicing in the auditorium in the same band hall that was built in the early 80s. Like, we're on engineering building, number 3? That alone says investing not only in the band program, but the music arts overall, period. So, we should be it, but we're not. And the one of the issues that's frustrating and things that's frustrating is we're kind of like your topic, the covering, shut up and band. That's what they're basically saying. Well, we allow you to go to this event. Oh, but can we get more? Nah, bro, shut up and band. That's really how they treat us. When you want us to shuck and jive, hey, a dignitary is coming. I need y'all to play the alma mater. You know what I'm saying? Like, go on, shuck and jive. That's how they treat us. And so until these students begin boycotting, so to speak, for better things, that's the only way it's going to change. Change only happens when you affect pockets. Outside is just protesting. Until we get to a point where we affect these administrators and presidents' pockets, that's the only way it's going to overall change. We should be the face. In my opinion, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Howard Band should be bigger than what it is. Howard and Hampton, they're the two, first Black universities that was placed for us. I don't see why that band program it should be that size. I mean, it should be quote unquote the Mecca. I don't see why some of the other smaller universities don't push for their band programs to be great. We know about the Southerns and different things like that, but if you're at a HBCU, you should strive to build a band program because it creates a different culture. It's two things you need at a Black school. I don't care what you say. You need Greek life and you need a band program.
I agree.
Those are the two things that solidify the HBCU culture: Black Greek life and the band.
So let me add something onto this. First of all, shout out to Brother Moore because he's able to watch us live. Usually he catches the after joints and he can fill up the comment section afterward, but he's here right here with us. So shout out to you, Brother Moore. But let me say this. I don't know, when I was watching the Roland Martin thing, it was a little bit triggering for me. On the strength of I've experienced that before. Like it's not like this is just like a phantom situation that just happens in this exclusively at FAMU. Like I've experienced that sentiment, getting a cold box lunch after hella performances, and then getting back on a bus, and driving or riding for an extensive amount of time. Like I've experienced that situation. Have you all experienced something like that before?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But I've also experienced both sides of the spectrum. I've also experienced the kind of bad side of it. I've also experienced where they just flown out the drum section, the box, and they gave us per diems. So I've experienced both. Yeah. But we worked that hard. Like, think about it, y'all. Like, we saying that it's not a sport, but like the average bandsman at that time of us marching was practicing longer than the football team.
Right.
So the average person that was in the band, we were up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and still made it to class. The average band person was we was all broke. You know what I'm saying? And we had to make it happen. And what's funny is as I'm thinking about this story, the worst things that we went through, we laugh about it now because at that time, just being kids, we were just happy that we was going through it together. Those long bus rides, that was excruciating.
Yeah. I would agree with that, but I also, and I think I've said this and I think it was when we were talking about glazing, but I also think that for us, we also look at it as a rite of passage, right? Like,
right,
we went through it before, so we go through it because that's just what's normal, right? So, I do agree with what you're saying. But here's the other thing: band is absolutely a sport, bro. Like we're not gonna sugarcoat this. Only reason why I just kind of wanted you to pause is because I wanted you to get to your rest of your thought out. But band is a sport. Let me tell you what happened to me one time, and then I'm gonna let you go ahead and get on your soapbox because I know you want to stand back on it. But this happened to me one time, or a lot of times actually. There were times when we were outside practicing and the football team would be watching us because they were done with practice. They were done with practice and we were still practicing. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you not put that in the same category as a sport? That doesn't even make sense. But on the flip side of it, I think it's they don't do that for a financial reason. I think that because I'll put a pause right there because that's another topic. and I don't want to go into the other topic just yet. All right, Maya, go ahead and get on your soapbox. I'm gonna let you back on.
I mean, it's just literally that. You sweep a field 3 or 4 times over and see if you don't feel like falling the hell out. You sweep a field at 4:45 a.m., go to sectionals, you done PT, you done learn music, this, that, and the third. You try patting your head, rubbing your stomach for 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? 12 hours at a time. It's a goddamn a sport. An activity involving physical exertion and skill in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment, whether you call the shit adjudicated or not. What's the purpose of halftime? What's the purpose of Twitter fingers on YouTube? That whole is somebody is defining a winner, whether it's adjudicated or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is a sport. Band members, dancers, auxiliary members, whatever, athletes. Band as a whole, sport. I don't care which way you cut it. I don't care which organization you're talking about. All of them. The blood, sweat, and tears. If you have never lived a day to make it through band camp in the end, don't talk to me.
Hey, so even to add a scientific aspect of it, a few years ago, they had a young man named Brandon that was a Blue Devil, and they did.
That when they strapped it to his chest and he was a tenor. Yeah, go ahead.
So they strapped it to his chest, and then they did their field show. I believe that was the Metamorphosis year. That his heart rate was like over 140 beats per minute. That's a sport.
Period.
Just saying, that's a sport.
And that's the bullshit I be talking about, because people are so quick to say, "Oh, just get on your horn and play this shit," or "Oh, like, we have this, just get on here and play it. We have somebody coming next week, tomorrow, today. Just get on the field and do it." Like, it's easy. There's nothing easy about getting 100, 250, 20, however many people on the field to do one same thing in a particular type of category and be able to exemplify something that sounds good, is portrayed good, looks good. Like, please, the endurance that it takes. Just we can go down so many different avenues, but absolutely. Because at the end of the day, like, while your mainstream quarterback, linesman, whoever the hell, is getting help and majoring in damn PT or human
penny making,
I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, barely doing the whatever, because they're expected to go to the league and they have a shoe in. The damn kicker, right? Okay, let's call the kicker, right? The kicker, from what I know about football, right? They don't do much. You know what I'm saying? Well, of course, when they do get on the field, they have a big job, fine. 30 seconds and out, fine. Compared to somebody who got to march a damn field show, old school ass field show, 12, 15 minutes, top to bottom. Please. I cannot relate out, and I won't relate, because you treat these bandsmen like they're bottom tier. But at the end of the day, who are you calling when your back is behind the wall and something needs to be done to be able to show some camaraderie for your university? You're calling the damn band. And if shit goes awry, who's to blame? The band. Oh, y'all sounded a mess. Oh, y'all did this, that, and the third. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Like,
let's keep it 100. We was used as distractions for the other team before the SWAC groups.
Bruh, your football team ain't won in 20 years. Your football team has not won a game in 20 years. But the band does whatever and can't get no funding. The band has upped the market on students that are even coming to your institution. But we can't get no love. We can't get no respect. We can't get whatever. But you want us to be when master call, you better be running at the drop of a hat. Child, please. I'm so over that. But you're right, Luke. I've been on the left side, star treatment. That's why I had a problem. That's why, when it came down for y'all to call the Fox's bandsman, we was like, what you talking about? No, baby, I'm a star. I'm a star. I get star treatment as well as being on the very right side of having them damn box lunches, having to have your baby wipes or whatever. Luckily, we had a bus of our own. We didn't have to change in front of band members or whatever. That's when the DMs and the Foxes split buses, right? And the DMs started getting on all the other buses.
I mean, it's about 40 y'all. Y'all supposed to have your own bus. Can't nobody else fit on the bus.
No, don't do that.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of y'all. It be about 40 y'all.
The auxiliary bus, it used to be the Foxes and the DMs, right? But they would wait for us to do whatever we need to do to be able to, we be good. But there have been times where I have experienced having to get off a game and go get on the bus and go straight on the road to go back home, wherever it was. But I've also lived the treatment of, I'm at the top floor of the hotel. I'm eating at the 5-star restaurants.
Y'all eat first.
Period.
Maya, we
I'm at 6th place and the damn tubas.
Right, Maya, we can't.
The box still trying to get in this bitch.
No, Maya, you
know. We know.
Remember, you got in blue parking. We got into that orange daddy. You got into the blue sweet parking. You just finessed your way into everything.
No finesse is not.
The box.
If it applies. I'm just saying it was very much left spectrum and right spectrum. I've dealt with it all. Thank you.
I get it.
All I'm trying to say.
Let me say this, brother Scarfinger. You're wrong. Cheerleading is considered a sport. If you didn't know
exactly. That's why you can let her in it. You can let her in sports.
Competition, dance, cheerleading, they're all sports.
On top of that, when they're cheering at a game, there is no definitive winner between the two cheer squads unless they go to competition, which in that case, what we do when we do a showcase or a battle of the bands is a competition. So that's the only reason why your argument is flawed. So yeah. All right. You got something, Quan? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, brother Scarface, that's strike two. I'm just saying, that's strike two.
Why you call him Scarface?
I say Scarfinger.
Oh, I thought you said Scarface. Yeah, he smitted it on TT. That is strike two. All right, here we go, man. Let's go.
That's strike three.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Let's get to the next topic. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like that. Help us with that YouTube algorithm. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all of your podcast networks by tomorrow. Just type in Talk That Talk. All right, except for Apple Podcasts, where you just need to type in Real Talk That Talk. God darn it. I be messing everything up. I didn't hit the record button. That's my fault. Don't worry. I mean, I can still get it. I'm gonna still get it on the podcast joint. It's more difficult for me to do that from this way versus doing it on my joint. But anyway, let's
double deduction.
Yeah.
Double deduction.
We had 57 gajillion shows, and you what?
That's my fault.
Wow.
Man.
You was too excited. That's all.
Yeah, I was. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the next topic. This kind of ties into what we just said, and this is going to get to the financial aspect, the thing that I was going to get into. Are band and or music programs the least important on university campuses? Are band and music programs the least important on university campuses? Quan, go ahead. You got it, brother. Well, no, Maya, you ready to take it again? Okay, go ahead, Quan.
Music programs, yes. Bands, depending on the school, no.
Thank you. That was my.
So it's like
colleges and universities, because I want to keep it in the HBCU room because of the fact that I know that the Roland Martin piece was specifically about HBCUs, but go ahead.
Right. No, but even from that, specifically what university that you're at. So for example, like Justin said earlier, if you speak about Southern University, they're not about to get rid of nothing. Whatever they're going to ask, they're going to get, right? But when it comes to certain music departments, and I hate to say it like this, people in certain universities, they're separate. You have certain band programs that are under athletics, but the music department is separate. So it depends. So when I'm posed with this particular question, the bands are important pending the university, but most music programs are struggling. Most music programs are going through it. Most music programs don't even have enough faculty truly to function like they should, operate. That's why most HBCUs, we have not college, well, is this we don't have schools of music. We have a department. When you look at, and I know I'm gonna keep it in the HBCU world, but PWIs, they have schools of music, meaning you can major in violin, string, so forth and so on. When you go to HBCUs, for the most part, you're either going to be a vocal major or an instrumental major with either performance or education. That's the only options you're about to get. When it comes to the staff, you may have 2 or 3 piano teachers. That same piano teacher may be your theory teacher. He or she may backdoor be your accompanist for the whole entire department, and then they may be given private lesson piano classes. But you go to a school of music, it may be one person teaching theory, and that's their job. When you have different aspects of band directors, you can have an athletic band director, a director of bands, then you have a jazz, you don't have burnout like that. But at the HBCU world, most of the band directors that's on the staff are the other jazz band directors as well. They're the concert band director as well. They're the wind ensemble person, if you have it, that a percussion and stuff, it's the same thing, and that's how we burn out, one. And then number two, that's why them people die in them seats, because they got to do all them ensembles to get compensation for pay. So bottom line, when you look at it, bands, honestly, like I said, pending what campus that you're on, but the music programs, again, going back to my alma mater, they need a new building. Why can't they get a new building? They're on engineer building number 3. That doesn't make sense. And some of those endowments, I know for a fact, did not just go towards engineering. Come on, man. Prairie View is bringing in dough now. Let's be honest. So there's no reason why for years we had to share a building with the business side. And then when the business side left, they got their own building, and we had to share it with the ROTC Naval Cadets and whatnot. So you don't have a music building for itself. Or let's take it a step further. The elevators weren't working.
They weren't working when we were there either.
So
it's hit or miss with that bad boy. It's a Russian roulette game, boy. You get on there, you hit that button, it's tight. You just
saying? Let's talk about episodic moments. How many music buildings you could walk in and it smell like the civil rights movement still? Let's keep it a buck. Let's be honest, when the bathrooms are truly not adequate and some of them didn't even have doors. Let's be honest of what some of the things that we've endeavored through. And honestly, we need to truly speak about fixing these things that made us who we are. But that doesn't mean the next generation has to go through it because we thought that was a rite of passage. That's wrong, bro. That's wrong. Bottom line, these music departments and even the same care for the humanities at the university level transitions to the work life, because that's how they treat us at the secondary too. At the secondary level, that's why high schoolers and counselors feel like, well, I can just it's just banned. Let me just dump them in. They need a fine arts credit anyway. So that same image of humanities that they look at us is just like, oh, we just playing around, we having fun, instead of teaching a art and a craft, and we went into debt for it so that we can teach and share these experiences with others. They don't look at it like that. So to answer your question, bro, bands, they shuck and jive. We're the entertainment. Look how much positive publicity that FAMU bring while they merge with UNC, right, to bring more blacks to their school. But my thing is, most administrators don't understand one hand wash the other. So that means you should have given them a hotel stay. That means, honestly, they could have had more than one performance with UNC so that you can create a true aspect of diversity and equity towards your university. but that's too much like right.
All right. Maya, are band music and or music programs the least important on university campuses?
Ooh, Lord Jesus. Yeah, absolutely. Like the band programs are like the equivalent of the token black person in a corporate organization, right? You better bring the ideas, you better bring the creativity. But at the end of the day, you ain't gonna get compensated for it. You're not going to get the recognition for it. But you better be on call when it's time to do something. Like that's the easiest way I can really just kind of like say it. Yes, I mean, I don't really know how much to follow up after what Quan said because everything that he said was so on point. But it's just like when we get to the point of raggedy, like it's very much raggedy, right? You try and throw, oh, it's like dangling some over your head, like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like you get the recognition. The recognition don't do shit for me when I gotta fight tooth and nail. When we gotta be on the side of the damn road for 16 hours because the buses done broke down because we didn't have a budget to get us ample transportation to where the hell we need to go. Or we on the damn bus and at least the executives, the administration, the whomever, the chief of staff, whoever is flying first class to get to the place where the band was invited to. Your ass wasn't invited. They didn't call the board administration.
Administrative assistant.
Called the band. But we on the bus and y'all on the plane.
Administrative assistants flying.
Bruh. What I'm supposed to do with that? But you still want these same persons to be joyful about joining this shit. To be in a collegiate band is a hard road. It takes humbling on a many of occasions. To get through band camp, to be a part of the brand organization, that's one type of humbling experience. But to know that at the end of the day, you're considered big shit walking in the masses, but on your own campus, people like the big dogs or whoever don't really care about anything. They're not really putting funding in your pockets. You got to fight to get your kids scholarships and stuff like that. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, why is it that we're sharing a whole building and have been doing so for the past umpteen years? Why is it that the band program is the last person to get funding? The program is expounding upon itself, giving new generative money to the university, but we don't have. I can only march 20 clarinets because I only have 20 clarinets, but I got 30 people who want to play clarinet or whatever. But I got to sit these folks down because I don't have enough instruments to be able to put them on the field. But you want a full-size band stretching from the 20 to the 20. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And then we're supposed to be okay with it. But the thing about it is, let's take it a step further. We're used to being okay with it. Because at the end of the day, like, who's going to say something? What are we supposed to say? Because we truly are just happy to be here. We're happy to be here. We're happy to be able to have what we have because at the end of the day, if I didn't have band, I wouldn't have nothing. So if I got $5,000 a year and I need $10,000 to make it to school, at least I got my $5,000. Because I don't really know if I can pay the out-of-state costs. I didn't get a scholarship to go to Timbuktu University or whatever the case may be. Like, it's so many things. And like the comments are saying, the first to get budget cuts. Exactly. You want to cut my damn funding, but you want me to be the prime premier. The president is coming. The president of the United States is coming to PV or whoever. And you want me to be prime and present, boots licked to capacity, spit shine, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like horns tuned to a T, but I don't have any support to do so. They're the most important, least important entity of the university that exists on the forefront. But at the end of the day, on campus, aside from the students, when it comes to administration, the most forgotten about, the most, oh, you can do it. Just make it happen. Figure it out. You smart. You strong. You're black. You're important. You can do it. You can figure it out. You're artistic. Figure it out. Hate it here. Hate it here. But I love it here. So what am I supposed to do?
I haven't said this in a while, but it goes back to post-traumatic slave syndrome, to make something out of nothing. We take the scraps, we take the last part of the pig, we make chitlins. We take the last part of the pigs, we got pig feet and hog maws, all the stuff that no one honestly wants to deal with. And what's crazy is, what I'm happy with is what Prime Time is doing for Jackson State, because he speaks about the boom. He speaks about them being the best band. He speaks about, helping them with endorsements, so forth and so on. The bottom line is, bro, if you have a decent band consistently, that's about $250,000, 250 people every year. You multiply that times 23,000. That's a guaranteed every year. Every year. But you're bringing money to these universities, but yet and still, most administrators, not all of them, we don't want to be, just throwing out everybody, but most administrators have no clue what it takes to run a band program successfully year after year after year. I do appreciate, I think the president, right. But I must say this, and I pray he sees this, but I think the band director at Hampton O'Hara, I think, but it's one of them. Like, he runs with them during PT.
That's Hampton.
So you see what I'm saying? It's like he has a different mentality. He's promised. He said himself, I went to the board of trustees to get you more money, and I'm gonna do everything what I can. In their band camp, he says, thank you for, thanking them. And it felt sincere. It wasn't, oh, I'm just here. Like, you need more people in those seats that understand, again, that Greek life is important and that the band is important at a university campus. And if we get more administrators to understand that, then that's what it needs to be. But what Prairie View has endeavored through over the past years, I know financial reports, what they went through, that was atrocious. With some of the pitches, I remember Nathan Hamer, when he was band director, he was trying to raise funds and was showing tubas that was broken up and taped up for years, old uniforms and whatnot. Like, my thing is, at the end of the day, bro, why we got to go through that and then expose you? Like, we have to low-key expose ourselves before change really happens. Like, that's a problem, bro. I'm just saying.
So, first, a couple of things that I'm going to say, because you guys did bring up something somebody in the comments did bring up something. I think, Quan, you brought up too. But so the interesting thing is, I had the pleasure of being at PV and understanding Hobart and being in Hobart and understanding the history of Hobart, but then also being in the E.L. Ham Fine Arts Building on the campus of Norfolk State University. And the funny thing about it is, it's very parallel in the treatment of those two buildings as it relates to the campus. And the reason why I say that is because Norfolk State, and I've been able to go back to Norfolk State. Obviously, I talked about it this past summer. And new student union, they got a little clock tower daddy, they building dorms, they got all, new tech building, they built the Marie V. McDimmon Center across the street, rest in peace to her, she just recently passed away. And the E.L. Ham Fine Arts Building is the exact same building that Chief was in. That to me is interesting, and to say the least. I walk in that building and they put some new paint on it, and I guess they fixed the elevator, but it's the same daggone building.
Making do. It's literally that, making do.
And I think I know her last name, I believe, is Bingham, but she I know she came from Norfolk. She was a classical violinist, and she toured with Yanni. but she was a Norfolk graduate. I'm gonna look up her name, but that's how I actually first was like, I'm going to be a music major. When I saw that woman perform, it's called Rainmaker with Yanni, my sophomore year in high school. And to say that this woman has been around the world for years as a violinist, and you haven't redone Norfolk's building, like that's the problem. Like, why we gotta suffer like that? Why we have to continue to put us through? It's kind of like everything has to be a burning sands. Financial aid when it comes to Black schools, when it comes to your music building, when it comes to sometimes even the admission process to get in, everything got to be a burning sands. And I'm gonna say this before I let you go, Mike. It seemed like with Prairie View is you go through buku stuff to get in, and you damn sure gonna go through buku stuff to get out. And when you start going through bad stuff like your senior year, what everybody say at PV? Oh, you about to graduate for real? Like, why does it have to be that way? When we went to PWIs, it was like Chick-fil-A. My pleasure. Your financial aid check will be here, such and such.
Bro, listen to me. That's the best treatment that I ever had, man.
Ever had, bro.
I tell that story every single time, my guy, because I have to tell that story.
No, I'm
bro.
down bad.
They took care of me. I had the wrong dang room. They called me and was like, "Hey, just want to let you know we took care of your room for you. You can just go downstairs, grab your key, and you'll be taken care of. Ain't no problems." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I ain't never." If I would have did that at Norfolk State, they would have probably cussed me out. Like, "Well, baby, f you got to stay in your room, man. I can't do nothing. What you want me to do?"
Well, I mean, you can call back tomorrow.
They wouldn't.
You said you don't know you graduating until your back. It's not even against the wall. It's behind the wall in the day. That had me down bad because that is so true. Like, it be smooth sailing until you're ready to graduate. It seems like every cooking book and nanny is out to get you. That shit crazy. That's funny.
Think about everybody that graduated from like an HBCU. Like, to get in, it might have was like a little struggle, but when it's time to get out, oh no, you got to go get this paper signed. Oh no, you got to hold. Oh no, you got to do this. Oh, because think about this, my real quick. I don't know if it happened like this at Norfolk, but you got to go through graduation practice and you got to get that golden ticket. If they call your name and they say, "Hey, everybody else, here's your tickets is on the table." If I call your name, go step to the left. And they call your name. Let me tell you something.
It's like The Bachelor.
They call
I'm getting picked to damn graduate. I done did everything I need to do, but it's up to them.
I ain't trying to be funny, and we all grown. That's worse than when you go to the clinic and you take a test and they be like, your results will be back in, and you just sitting there praying over everything that you did been through. You like, just don't call my name. Just don't call my name. They call you. God damn! And they take you to that table. Hey, you got a hold that you had freshman year, but we forgot about it. But you're gonna pay it before you leave, and it's about $7,000.
We don't have a situation.
16 years.
We don't have that golden ticket situation like y'all.
Today you see it. Wow.
We don't have that golden ticket situation like y'all, but that does happen. That definitely does happen. Yeah, baby. You're gonna have to hold on because you do got to hold. And yeah, definitely. That has definitely happened. That's happened to some people that I know. It ain't happened to me, but it definitely has happened to some people that I know. Yeah.
My mama was getting so much mail. My mama told me, "Hey, you graduating or what? Because I ain't gonna waste my gas from Louisiana. I'm just telling you now." I said, "Mom, I'm graduating." She said, "All right, good. I'm gonna be on the road." Because it be people, think about it, be people that be traveling from afar, get there and be like, "Nah, you owe $2,000. So what you gonna do?"
Day of. It's people day of that did not walk because you think you lining up. Oh, let me find my little banner. Let me find my school that I'm supposed to be walking behind it. Nope, somebody not. You tried it. I need that 3 thigh, y'all. I need that 3-yard thigh, y'all, right now. My mama is out there. My mama got the damn cowbells.
Well, go on, tell somebody else, because and then all you could do is cry.
I had 5 tickets. I had to figure out who I was gonna give them to. And now ain't nobody gonna see me walk. Oh no.
So one of the things that Jesus Christ, one of the other things too that I wanted to bring up, and I think Tina said it earlier in the chat, and I think Quan said it. and it was bringing up the situation with Golden Martin, good Lord, Roland Martin, and how he was saying that people were saying he shouldn't be airing the dirty laundry. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. How do we solve problems as a community? Like real problems. How do we solve problems if all we trying to do is keep it in house? Because when we keep it in house, it never gets done. It just gets swept under the rug. That's all that happens. We don't talk about it. We don't make a big deal about it. We don't actually put anything in action, because once you get it out there in the open and people see, oh, I'm not the only one having this problem. Let's actually figure out something to do to move the ball forward. But as long as we keep having these quiet discussions and nothing gets solved. And I think that is that's the, I'm not gonna say I ain't gonna say stupid, but that's a slap in the face.
It's the stupidest shit I've never heard in my life.
Well, there you go. Somebody.
Because number one, we're black. We are black. Negro. We are black. Okay. We automatically push to the side, right? If something is wrong with us, obviously we're overreacting because we are stronger, we are better, we are whatever to be able to fight the shit. So obviously it's not that bad. So number one, we got that. Number two, what you mean airing dirty laundry? That means you one of the ones that ain't put your shit in the damn washing machine. You got some stories of your own, because like I said, we're so used to bending and folding for the masses, better yet ourselves, which is why we find ourselves in these type of predicaments. Because why don't we have somebody on staff who is properly negotiating these contracts, who is making sure wherever we're supposed to go, how much money are you putting up? Because truly, like, for example, and let me be clear, I don't know any information. I don't know if FAMU paid to go to the LV fashion show or whatnot. No matter who does what to travel, they should be putting that money. If they want you, if they ask you to come, just like if you going on a date, if I ask you to come, I'm paying. I asked you out. If you ask me to come, I'm paying. This is what I have. This what I have for your room and board. This is what I have for your transportation. Period. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough people who are okay with saying, nah, that ain't enough. Nah, I got a 500-piece band. These kids got to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. These kids got to practice 16,000 times within 3 days to be able to fulfill your needs for this particular event. We got people that's like, oh, you said what? Louis Vuitton? Shit, say less. We on the bus right now. We on the bus right now. No, it don't work like that. So there's two different sides to it, right? We got people who will fold easily just for the name or the sake of the name of exposure. And then we got those who are okay with saying like, oh, we got to keep this shit in-house. The in-house people are part of the problem. Because how are we getting better? Because the people in-house are the ones who have let this stuff go on year over year over year, or who just don't get it. But what you mean? In-house. Yeah, we in-house with it. And I'm let me tell you something. I'm in-house and I'm about to tell you in the town hall, you wrong. And this is how we're gonna fix it. Or you wrong, and we need other strategies to be able to figure out what the hell is going on. It don't work like that.
The crazy thing about it all is all of this in-house stuff brings me to this point right here. They'll cut a band budget, but they wouldn't cut their own budget.
Thank you.
Like so like, for example, if you just think about it, just say if a president is making, I don't know, but just say $1 million, right? Would that president be willing to cut their salary by 2%?
Hell no.
I'll cut everybody percent.
Because they live a certain lifestyle. They're not.
George wasn't cutting not a lick, not a penny, not a dime, not a nothing.
No,
right.
Absolutely not.
So then here's the thing. Then it's not about the kids, because my thing, a president of a university ain't nothing but a larger principle. My thing, if you want your kids to be beneficial, there's no way that you would have given your own child a cold sandwich that you got to eat at a love station. You wouldn't have did that to your own child. You wouldn't have done that to your own child to put your children on the bus for 16 hours. Real talk, with the game with UNC, me and UNC would have had to negotiate, because let's be honest, don't act like the football team didn't get a check to play that game. Because those beginning of the year games, those universities and athletic departments pay them.
That's why they take those games. That's why they take those games. They take that was one of the arguments that I had with a couple of Norfolk people. We cut the Virginia State Labor Day Classic. Like, that's completely dead. We don't even do that anymore. To go and play, these PWIs, to get our butts handed to us so they can check this, so they can collect that bread.
Right. So watch this. So Tina's saying is they got 450,000. But here's the thing, though. I forgot what school it was. I think it may be FAMU that played, I think, Florida State one year, or Bethune, whatever. But they basically got $1 million. That $1 million funded that football program for like a year and a half. That's chump change to a UNC. That's nothing to even like a Nebraska, teams that's not prolific like that's nothing to them. But my question is this: how much the band getting cut? Because out of that 450 that fan would have got, you would have slid me at least 120, 125, or at least you'd have paid for my room and board just for the experience. I wouldn't have came out of my band's budget for it, because we can't go then, bro. There's no, because we have to start thinking about the experiences of the kid. Like, to sit at the side of the road after I just did this great performance, because the performance really was good. Then you backdoor and say, well, I hate to say it, now you're going to treat me like an N-word. That's how you treat me. I didn't shuck and jive.
Sit on the side of the road eating the cold food, but then you didn't even get a chance to change in an adequate place. You changed on the bus. You didn't even get a hotel, just a hotel for a couple of hours. You didn't get the motel daddy, where people just got the gooey sheets where you can just change real quick. They didn't even give them that.
Compare that to being our normal culture at that, right? Because when you say that, it's like my heart doesn't even jump like, wow, because I'm used to the shit. Changing on the bus, shit, that's what I'm used to. Doing makeup on the bus, changing on the bus 3-4 times a day. That damn Dallas tour before shit started changing, the original Dallas tour, shit.
But here's the crazy thing.
I don't know what that original daddy was. I can't speak.
Well, let me tell you, it was.
I know.
It was. Rough.
I know when we were there. Thanks to Dr. Zachary. And I'm gonna tell you this. Let me give you this quick tidbit before we keep going. Dr. Zachary was always good with that. I remember when Norfolk took a trip to Detroit, and we got stuck at Norfolk because the campus wasn't open when we got back. Doc was like, yo, we got to get these kids some bread. And so he went and got us stipend and gave us all $20 so that we can make it, you know what I'm saying, through the night until the campus open. So he was good with that. Cause I know that once we were there, that Dallas tour, y'all ate good. Y'all was full. Y'all had Golden Corral at least 2-4 times a day. And then we would hit you with the pizza box, daddy, later on that night.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. When we got one pizza box to a room, and it was only 2. It was me and Ashante B's like, I hate to put your business on blast, baby, but we used to get that 1 or 2 boxes and used to be in that bitch by ourselves.
No, here was a kicker. Here was a kicker. Y'all would get them boxes. Every kid would go up with a box. It was still like 30 boxes left. The staff will be taking like 2-3 boxes.
Guess who would have seconds and thirds?
Oh yeah, I already know. We made sure y'all was good. But I'm sorry. I had to talk about that. All right, go ahead, Paul. What were you saying, bro?
But I'm just saying. Think about the females that possibly was having that monthly that couldn't change. Exactly. Like you treat us as bastard children. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that it's a valid excuse, but then you get mad why certain alumni don't donate back to the school. Because you treated me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like and I'm not, again, that's not an excuse. Because like next Wednesday, Real Talk, with all this going on at PV, Rowena Real Talk, hit me up because I'm gonna pay my alumni dues for the band. The other stuff is taken care of. But all I'm saying is like we have to do better with treating our kids, because what are we saying that their value is? Like, this is not a regular band. FAMU is not a regular band. FAMU Super Bowl performances, like, I mean, it's been several inaugurations and whatnot. Like, this band will be on the Mount Rushmore of bands, not just HBCU, but bands for what they've done. And that's how you treat them kids. And my thing is this: one point that Roland Martin made up, that brought up, he said, the situation with Robert Champion happened years ago. Are you still holding them accountable for that actions then? And if you are, then you're wrong.
So I want to pause on you right there because I want to get into that. But that's part of the next topic. All right. So let's go ahead and get to the next topic since he brought that up, because that'll segue right into that. So welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy, not only for the show, but for this topic. You don't have no problem going in. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just go ahead and type in Talk That Talk, except for Apple Podcasts, where you can just type in Real Talk That Talk. All right. Also, please make sure you go ahead and take a look at that Patreon. You want to get on it before we start taking these other big trips. I'm telling you. Yeah. All right, here we go. So here we go.
Passionate about this,
huh?
You must be passionate about this.
About this topic?
Yeah, because that was the first time, like, the inflection on your voice and woo.
I do it all the time now.
No, it was a different woo.
No.
No. You was hitting high seas in this whole money.
No, you got to remember this show has gone in its ebbs and flows.
My friend, the way that you just talked that thing down was different, my boy.
I think I do it the same way every time, in my personal opinion. But
I'm letting you know from experience. Okay. No, that it was a little different. You ready to get to that thing? Okay, I feel you.
All right, here we go. Has ego taken hold of leadership roles? The reason why I brought that up was exactly what Quan was just talking about earlier, as far as the fact of, what has happened. What happened with Robert Champion was 10 years ago, or more than 10 years. I think it was 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago. But that happens at universities. Do you know how many times where I've had conversations with directors who have said, I don't want that band director to have more power than me on this campus? I've heard that before. And that within itself is an issue. So you mean to tell me because the band director is doing the job in which they got hired for and he's getting notoriety from it, you're going to find a way to suppress that person from doing his job or being as successful as they possibly can because you don't want to lose power? So let's talk about it. So has ego taken hold of leadership roles? Maya, you go first since Quan started the last one. Or Quan, you want to go first since you were starting this anyway? Oh, okay.
I'm fine with whatever.
Go ahead, Maya.
I mean, yikes! You really hit the nail. Ooh, you really trying to get to it. Ooh, I'm nervous. Ooh, my heart is beating. Wow. Yeah. I mean, ooh, has ego now taken hold of leadership roles? Yes, I think so. Right. I don't want to pinpoint a particular what have you, but I think that has been the gist of the thing across the board, right? So when it comes to, hey, I need you to be here at 5 o'clock. I need you to be here at 10 o'clock. I need you to be here at 1 o'clock, and you just gonna have to figure it out. I need you to be here in Dallas. I need you to go to Florida, and I need you to come back to Houston by 2 o'clock all on the same day. Making these exponential type of things happening. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, sure, I'm the president of this bitch. I brought you in to be able to, have the woo woo, sing the dee, bring some entertainment tonight or entertainment whatever to the university. But don't you get too comfortable and get big buck. You know what I'm saying? Like when you start getting big buck, and now when the press start naming my name over yours. Right? They start naming the band director's name and the band's name over the president or the executive or whoever of the university. Absolutely. I feel a type of way. And absolutely, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Now, let me be clear. This is not how I personally feel. I'm just speaking in general of what I have experienced. Let me be clear about that because I don't want nobody. I don't want y'all doing what y'all doing in these internet streets. But yeah, I'm going to say like, no, it's time to tear it down. My mom used to say, tear it down, tear it down. You know what I'm saying? Like, you getting too big for your britches. It's time for you. You done got a little bit too high up. It's time for you to bring it down. You ain't never bigger than me. So yeah, absolutely. Some people have taken hold of their quote unquote leadership roles because at the end of the day, what is your why? Their why is not the true meaning or the true need for the why, right? The why is always for the next generation. The why is always for the students. The why is always to keep the ball rolling. The why is always to implement a better structure for those who did not have or benefit or was not able to brink off of what was had in the past, but to be able to make a better future for them. That is the why. Everybody does not align with that. Some people's why is that check. Some people's why is that notoriety. Some people's why is to be able to wear their pinstripe suit on the 50 to be able to get the check for the university just because they think that they look good. Or because it seemed right. Yeah, I did this. No, it was a compilation of your biggest entities that brought this shit to you. So yeah, ego has always been a thing. But if I want to say what I want to say, that's just, I mean, honestly, that's what makes us the blacks the blacks. We like that. It's not right, but we are like that. We're territorial. We like to have our shit, and we like to say, like, yeah, because of me, this is you. Because of me, this is why. A portion of us, let me say that. Let me be clear. A portion of us like to be like that. So, yeah. I want you to come here. I want you to do great things, but you can never be bigger than me. I'm the captain of this ship, okay? Period. I'm the captain of this ship. Don't you ever step to me in no disdain regard or what have you. Or and if you do, I'm going to cut your shit. Why you think the budget be coming up short all of a sudden? It's time for me to make a transaction. I had $450,000 on a credit card. Now I got $4,500, and I'm supposed to be feeding and funding 300 damn students.
Okay.
We got the wrong people in place too many times and not. Too many people that want the accolades, that want the pat on the back, and pretty much those same people ain't the same folks who'll be down in the ditches getting it when necessary. It's the ones that's like this and not like this. But you know, that's just my take on it.
Man, that's a good take.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Quan, has ego now taken hold of leadership roles?
Ego has always taken down leadership roles. If you look just through history, any organization or entity that has destroyed itself has always come from within. So it has always taken its toll. Ego, greed, jealousy. Well, not jealousy, envy, because jealousy is people that's out. Envy is a person that call you friend. So my thing is, it's always taken, ego has always taken down, kingdoms, monarchies, so forth and so on. This question honestly brings me to one of the first books that I read in my life, in my younger life, was 48 Laws of Power. Law number 1 says never outshine the master. So it's not about shucking and jiving, but when you're in that position, if you're not a servant leader and secure with yourself, then my ego is going to be on the way. My ego has to be the one that fills the room because I'm not secure with myself. But if I'm secure with myself, if I'm a director of bands and I'll be like, say, Luke, like real talk, you gonna make 6 figures, come roll with me, blase, blase, blah. I'm not about to sit up here and be like, well, I'm the director of bands, Luke, you can't be on the podium. Nah, Luke, like you my dog. I know the pedagogy and it's gonna benefit these kids. Go on that podium, bro. I'm gonna go handle this admin stuff. The problem is everybody is not secure with themselves to truly remove themselves out of the picture. Because my definition of love is to do something for someone, even if it doesn't benefit yourself. So yeah, I might have a title, but if Luke is the better teacher, he's the better teacher. Luke, teach me how to be a better teacher then. And then you grow together. And that's how life should be. But a lot of people, they're not secure with themselves. And I'm not going to drop no names of the universities, but this happened firsthand in front of me. And what's the word? A band director had more, I guess, pull with certain people than the president. Didn't like that. But the bottom line, what up, Push? At the end of the day, ego will destroy any organization. So you just got to be careful, man. But at the end of the day, God don't sleep. Just do your job.
And it kind of brings me back or makes me think, just even from the Norfolk State perspective, if anybody knows the situation, I ain't gonna go into detail, but if anybody knows the situation what happened in Norfolk State in the music department, it was a really big thing. And since then, money ain't never flowed the same. It just hasn't. And I feel like what Roland Martin was saying as it relates to the Robert Champion situation is also the same thing that had happened at Norfolk State. And I definitely agree on everything that all of you all said. And let me ask this question. And I know kind of Maya kind of touched on it, but I really kind of want to dive a little deeper into that. Do we think do we really believe it is a Black folk issue? Because I was listening to what Quan was saying as far as being secure within yourself, but then I'm listening to what Maya is saying too. I'm the HNIC. I don't think that was a term that was coined for no reason. So do we really believe that is a Black person issue of trying to make sure that I establish dominance over this person or over you?
I don't think it's just a Black thing, but I know it's prevalent in our culture. So, of course, a syllogism is your experience and your truth. We've seen that. So that's true. And we have 4 different people, and I guarantee you we've seen this in 4 different situations for sure in our lifetime. But it may be happening in white culture and Hispanic culture, but does it destroy it though? Does it destroy the organizations though? I think that's the difference. We've seen band directors being tossed merely because, like what you said, Julian, the president was like, "Oh, you think you bigger than me?" When they've brought the university, and when you say that university's name is synonymous with that band, oh, he too big. Oh, he cool with the chancellor. Nah. I need to separate that. You know what I'm saying? That's when it gets sticky. But it may be happening in other cultures, but we definitely know once you get, and let's be honest, once you get to the higher level of secondary education, as well as the collegiate level, everything is political. Everything is political.
Absolutely.
So if you don't know how to play chess and you playing checkers, you ain't gonna never get on that board, bro. So you gotta know how to move and shake, man, with that aspect.
Okay. You about to say something? You got some thoughts?
Yes, but can you please repeat exactly what you said just to make sure that I'm hitting it?
No, I was just saying that do you really believe it's a Black person issue, that the control, the dominance of wanting to be in control of somebody?
Gotcha. Unfortunately, yes, right? And so my Fox sister Phoenicia, she put it in the chat. I think her and I we was like this because I was Googling crab in the bucket, and she put in the chat crab in the barrel mentality, right? So I think as Black people, we are so used to not being, right? We're so used to not being acknowledged. We're so used to not being having or being able to have the answer, be able to understand or be able to know or be able to have the the right to be able to choose or have our way or what have you, right? So when we do get that, we like, oh no, it's me, it's me, it's not him, it's me, right? I have to have that. I need to let you know that I know that you know that I'm the one that came up with this shit. I'm the one that's really doing the work on this. So yeah, absolutely. Because at the end of the day, them other folks, everybody can eat. We're not accustomed to everybody can eat. It's either you eat, either you get in or you get lost. That's a hood mentality. Either you get what you gotta get, or you done. Either you make your placement or you done. Whereas here, everybody can get a little piece of the pie because everybody has substantial needs. Everybody has connections. Everybody has network. Everybody has the foundation to be able to whatever, what have you. And everybody's vow, everybody's say so is equally as important. Whereas for us, the top token black person is the one that gets all the clout. So I think that levels down into how all this stuff plays out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not used to being able to say, like, okay, like these things need to be done in a certain particular type of way. But yet there are many people that go into making this happen. No, it's me, because we're not used to that acknowledgement. And unfortunately, that expounds upon itself and becomes what we're dealing with in today. Long story short.
Quan?
Oh, I do, because we're all educators on here. I do want to say something that I was reading recently about the crab in the barrel mentality. So first of all, we have to truly, as black people, acknowledge that we have to first acknowledge that the barrel or the environment that was created was not created, and we're not in our normal homeostasis, or we're not in our normal environment, first of all. So when we speak about crab in the barrel, that is something that's man-made and that has been manipulated over years, that we've been placed in overall, that what we see of today. Like, that's not how we truly operate. That's not our original mentality, right? So we're gonna agree with that. But another thing what people fail to realize is we always say crab in the barrel mentality, but we don't understand the crabs. So if you look at crabs in the ocean, they operate together in pods, in groups. And the reason why we all get in the same bucket together is because when one grabs one, what's supposed to happen is the other one grabs them, because his mentality is, I'm gonna pull him back down into our normal state. Right now, what's taking place is, from our university level, I look at it like this. I'm an underground railroad person. I'm a conductor. I'm trying to get kids to freedom through education and knowledge, because the truth is they're ignorant. All of us are educators. So we're trying to push, and we're whatever avenue, through dance, through flags, band, whatever, we're trying to get them free. The problem is, though, we are going up against an environment that they don't understand, that they're in darkness. That's the problem. And then the unfortunate thing is, the tokens, like that you said, Maya, that's at that upper level, they're so concerned about staying there because they're afraid that they'll be pulled back down as well, to where they'll keep the status quo with the mentality of, oh, I got mine. Like, I got mine and we're good. We have to be, as African Americans, we got to do better with truly seeing the problem. And it would be ideal not to air it publicly, but if we don't air it publicly, it's going to keep happening. That's why I'm happy Roland Martin did this whole spiel on it, because it wouldn't have changed. Now people need to look at the books to be like, well, how much money is the band getting? So you're telling me a 300 or whatever their number amount band is not getting funded properly? So where the money going? Like, that's a whole different auditing process, because now all this money that these students bring in, if it's $23,000 times 300, and you're telling me y'all can just automatically cut the budget by 60%? That don't make sense. So I think we need to look at look at us as we're not in our proper environment, and we just need to get better and pull each other up.
I feel you. I feel you. My only debate is why. Why is it that somebody has to raise a flag to say something ain't right for somebody to look and be like, damn, what are the numbers? Because when we building the 5th engineering building on campus, ain't nobody look twice at the budget. Them STEM kids, they want something, yeah, they get it. You know what I'm saying? Like the money, now this may be controversial, the money could possibly come after they graduate. The band money, the people that are bringing your people, your students to the institution in real time, that comes now. So why do we have to have an audit on who's paying what's money is going where are we losing out, what have you? But then when the same year term, a different institute, or not institution, but a different entity or a different subdivision is wanting some money, they can just get it off top. But the band is asking, hey, I need $100,000. I got 20 kids, 200 out-of-state students, whatever the numbers are. I gotta fight tooth and nail. But the engineering kids or the STEM kids or whoever say, hey, I need $100,000, boom. Now somebody from somewhere donated $1 million anonymously. You know what I'm saying? That's my only plight about that, because why now does the band and the arts have to suffer in real time?
So one thing I
know why?
Go ahead.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, it's been one of them nights. Y'all hear my voice? It's been one of them nights, but I'm here.
I hear you, baby.
That's
my baby. I love me some Portia, baby.
So it's because we're not considered a sport. We're not considered to be the ones that are bringing money into the school, when that's not the case. I don't mean no harm. Norfolk State hasn't had, and no shade, hasn't had a winning football team since I got there in 2005. Those people are coming to that stadium to see the Legion.
Thank you.
There might be some parents in there that's coming to see their baby play football, but 99.9% of the time, those people are buying tickets to see the Legion. You don't believe me? Watch how that whole Dick Price clear out after halftime. Period. Because
been doing it
that's
for
why
years.
they're coming. That's why they're coming. The other part is that, and I said this with Norfolk after Julian spoke on the situation that happened and how they cut the budget by 60% after all of that stuff went down, and the money is just being put back, and that money that went that long way then doesn't go that long way now. But you want to know why? Because we've been making shit shake without it. So they feel like if you've been making it work without it, you don't really need it. And that's part of the problem, because we want to still give the kids a good experience. We want to still put out a good product, but at the same time, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We don't want to fail. We don't want to be like, this is the result of us not having what we need. Us making shit shake is shooting us in the foot, because they're like, well, I mean, you've been able to put this product out there without that money, but to what end? To what detriment? So, it's the perspective. You don't need it because you haven't had it, and you've been doing all of these things. The other thing is that we're not looked at in the same light as sports teams. But I don't mean no harm. If you had a pep rally and only invited the football team, who coming to that?
Thank you.
You can invite us to everything on campus. I said this the other day. We went to stuff on campus, but when I tell you weekly, this version of the Legion has something to do. Everything they have, and I'm talking about everything they do, they hitting our line like, we need y'all to come, but we don't get the same luxuries. So something is wrong with the math. Ain't mathing. So I mean, we kind of the perspectives, and it's kind of our own fault, because we've been making stuff work. We've been holding it together with glue, shoestring, and random stuff around the band room, but it's not right. But that mentality of we don't see the need So we're not going to address it, is what I think the issue is.
I know that's right, friend. Talk to him, friend. Talk to him. That's why I say, Portia, that's my girl. That's my girl. That's my girl. She gonna talk that.
I hadn't met Portia face to face. Now they best friends.
I love her.
That is my friend, okay?
I ain't mad at it. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all how bad Portia did me. Portia was riding around with me and my wife, and then next thing you know, her and Maya hooked up for like 30 minutes, and then she was like, "Nah, I'm riding with Maya. I'm good.
We out of here.
We out of
here. Come on, Portia. I'm taking you to the hotel." That's my
girl. Get us dirty,
that's
boy.
My girl. Let me tell you something. Listen. Let me tell you something about little Portia. She a stallion, and she's that girl. Period.
Lord Jesus. Anyway, but no, Portia, you are absolutely right. In everything that you said. Any final thoughts on this topic? I guess y'all know. See, y'all, I'm good.
What can we say? We got to do better. Like,
I agree.
We just have to do better. Period. Like, Portia really summed up everything that we've been talking about over the course of this whole segment. Not even segment. This whole podcast. When you settle and we start acting like stuff is okay, people are going to mend you to that. Okay, you can make it work. No, I can't make it work. I need something. Because guess what? They ain't settling for nothing. You want to pay me $1,000, but you want to pay them $100,000 for the same work? Out of here. Out of here. Get out of here with that. And we're okay with that because we're used to settling because we just want to be in the same spaces. We just want to be acknowledged. We got to be better than that.
But I guess the question is though too, as creators, the worst thing for us to put out is a product that's half-ass. So where's the median? Because here's the truth. Because we could say prime example. We just talked about the Legion. So what if the Legion say, "All right, we're gonna boycott," and they'd be like, "Okay."
No, I feel you on that because at the same day, like what I wanted to say earlier is I would do this shit for free. So it's a very hard line to be able to step on. When do we stand on what we know that we're worth versus I'm truly just happy to be here. I just want to do my talent. I just want to show my art.
Yeah. And then also,
go ahead.
Now I was just about to say real quick, but some of those endowments that comes to the universities are specifically for some of those stuff because you got to realize, not being ugly, they should invest into the music department, but we also have to ask ourselves, what products have we put out of this music department that is worth investing that type of money?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say when they do invest in that, why don't we ever see it?
But they don't invest in it. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, they do be investing in it.
Into the music department?
Not necessarily the music, but when we get payment for our whatever, let's say for whatever reason, some of the negotiations have been, hey, it's gonna take us $10,000. We get paid $15,000 whether we know it or not. Where does all that money go? We never end up seeing it.
Hold on, right quick. Because you all are going into the next topic. So I might as well just go ahead and do
Sorry.
Yeah. Every time y'all do that, I want to make sure that we got the right thing scrolling.
You know what? That's very, you got a great panel because how could we know that?
I mean, y'all are just passionate. Y'all are just passionate right now. Because I mean, this not like it happens on a normal basis. I mean,
Now don't do that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm trying to hype us up, and you trying to pull us down.
Well, I ain't trying to
got that crab in the bucket.
I'm just trying to say, it ain't normal, but no. Let's go to this. This is actually the last topic, and then I'm gonna open up for people to call in with us. So here we go. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture. See, I just did an inflection there, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and smash that like daddy right now. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network. Golly, I am tongue tied right now. Subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. All right. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in real talk that talk, except for at Apple Podcasts. You type in real talk that talk. The only reason why I got tongue tied on that is because I was trying to do it like I normally do it.
Why?
Yeah, yes, because you tried to call me out, and I'm like, bro, I do it. Man, put your hat down. All right. So here's the last topic. So, and y'all were kind of going in on this, and I want to go ahead and continue this conversation. I had a gnat on my screen, Lord. Anyway, here we go. Students or bottom line? What's more important? Students or the bottom line?
What's the bottom line?
That money, that cash, what you bringing in. What's more important?
Quan, do you want to go first, or you let me know?
Go first.
Huh?
I'll go first.
Handle it.
Yeah. So the truth is, from what perspective? So as Quan, the director, it's always going to be the kids first. But understand, when it's the kids first, something has to be sacrificed. So if it's the kids, if you're not going to sacrifice the kids, then as a director, you're going to sacrifice yourself. So then that means you may sacrifice your pay. That means that even though you know your value, you are going to diminish your bank account, your lifestyle, and all of those different things, right? If you say sacrifice the kids, then okay, then you're willing to sacrifice a kid who this may be their only opportunity of going to a school, so forth and so on. So something gonna get sacrificed. The question is, what are you willing to pay? Are you okay with saying, well, you know, this extra $20,000 that could have went to that kids for 4 years or whatever it may be, I'm gonna put that in my pocket because I'm thinking about me right now. Which, not saying, you know, you shouldn't think about your dollars, right? But if you say I'm gonna sacrifice myself, then what am I doing? Because then you're going back to Portia's point where you're making something out of nothing. And then you mad too because you know you're being undervalued as a director or a sponsor or a coordinator. So something is going to basically suffer. You just have to pick which one. So the bottom line is, as a person, are you willing to live with whatever decision that you make?
All right. So very good answer, by the way. But I'm speaking from a university administrative perspective.
Well, goddamn.
you had a amazing answer. I wasn't mad at that answer, but no, from a university admin perspective,
from a university, it goes back again, but it goes back to that individual. If you look at compare the president at Hampton right now to some of the presidents that we've experienced, the bottom line was the money for some of the things we experienced. But for a Hampton president, he's like, I'm a rock with these kids and support them in all of their endeavors. If you look at the president currently at Jackson State, now that's coupled with prime time that he's shouting out the boom. It's about the kids. So it all falls down onto that individual that's in their seat. So if that seat if that admin is a servant leader, then it's always going to be about the kids. It's always going to be about the calling. It's always going to be about them. But if that person in the seat is a business person, which a lot of them are, then it's going to be about that dollar. That's why I don't mind cutting 60% of a band's budget. Because it ain't about the kid. It's about how can I be fiscally responsible? So that's just how I look at it. It just depends on that person in their seat, bro. But the bottom line can vary from institution to institution. We see it. And as I think about it, I look at Southern. Southern was underfunded for years.
Okay. All right. Portia, we just want to hear you again and just hear all the amazing thoughts you have. Students, a bottom line. What's more important?
Well, honestly, if you want to help that bottom line, you worry about the students because they're your best sounding board. They're your best recruiters. If they have a good experience at your university on these teams in your band program, they're going to tell people that. You bring them there, you treat them like trash, that's going to impact your university. And so I don't know that you can separate the two of these. You can try to, but logically, you need those students to help that bottom line, because if your enrollment goes down, that bottom line goes down. These two are connected. And the problem is that these people aren't realizing that they're connected. These band programs grow, these sports teams grow, your university grows based on their experience. Now, if anything go wrong, they putting it on Twitter. Everybody has these social media networks. Why would I want to go there? I'll never forget a couple of years ago, I won't say the school, they close to here, was serving moldy bread. We was like, oh, we would never do that over here. Y'all paying all that money to go to that school and they serving y'all moldy bread? We don't get moldy bread around here, you know? So, and those things happen. It was some incidences last year with some band programs, and those band programs are smaller because those kids are talking to the students that went to their high school and saying, last year was a mess, or we are experiencing these things. As much of a beacon as FAMU is for Black College Marching Band, you best believe it's some parents that's like, oh, hell no. You're not going there to be mistreated. The gag is that this is the reality for a lot of us. But you better believe that publicity, that being out there, is going to impact enrollment, and especially in that band program, even though they sound amazing. But those things matter. So you can't separate the bottom line from the students. They are your best recruitment tool. And if you mistreat them, people are going to talk about it. So I don't know that one is more important than the other. They actually, there's a correlation there. And the problem is that these people in these administrative seats don't realize that.
Okay. Maya, students or bottom line, what's more important?
What I'm supposed to say. What I'm supposed to say. It's absolutely, I mean, for sure, the students are the most important. But just like I'm saying, everybody that spoke before me, the students funnel in to the damn bottom line. Like we went, let's go back 16 conversations ago when we were jokingly saying that Southern doesn't have to recruit no more. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, at some point in time, there comes a consensus when, not even that, if you're going to put yourself in a predicament to be in a collegiate or be attached to some type of student, some type of involvement in someone's life, you have to be knowledgeable, you have to be teachable, you have to be willing to be able to put the students or whoever you're trying to come off to or be able to build and support over yourself. You have to be selfless to be in this type of situation. And the majority of people are not that. So it's absolutely students over quote unquote bottom line, because the student, if you have the students, they're gonna make the bottom line. If you have the students, if you have the numbers, it's gonna make the funding. It's gonna come from somewhere. It's gonna have to support what you got going on. It may not be pretty, but it's gonna have to come from somewhere. So just like everybody said, absolutely students over bottom line. And I mean, I don't really know what else to add aside from what I just said.
I'll say this real quick because I'll put it like this, no, not dropping no names, but I know a university president that has literally destroyed the bottom line because it's about them. And they're not a large institution. They're very small. And they've strived to build a band program for several years and had adequate band directors there, but ran them off because it was about money. And when you have those type of people in leadership, it's about the dollar. That's their bottom line. So again, in my opinion, even though I agree with everything Portia said, it should be, one hand wash the other. Then I guarantee you, when those people are greedy for money, then that's their bottom line. And that goes to the previous question with ego. because it's about me. It's not about saving these kids' lives. It's not about helping them. It's about money. And how can I save myself?
And Quan, and I want to bring this up again. Quan, you brought up something interesting, and this is which helped the segue into this particular topic. You know, there was something that you said that I did find to be true, right? When we talk about students graduating and what happens financially with those students when they graduate from certain departments versus what's happening with a music program, I also think that has a lot to do with the funding as well, right? Which also deals with the bottom line. While those band programs are there, yeah, we're bringing a lot of attention to the school. But when you're looking at the engineering programs, or you're looking at the nursing programs, hell, when you're looking at the athletic program, there is a higher percentage of people who are graduating who are going to be who are going to make higher finances on the other side and be able to make that university look good on that side than what it looks like on the other side. So I think there is a financial aspect to that too. So that's kind of what I was thinking of, and I was waiting for you to kind of expound on that. But you know, I know I stopped you. My bad. My fault about that, brother.
But I think on the other side of that, when you look at what departments or what organizations on campus are bringing in the most students, for a while that there after Norfolk State went through all of that accreditation stuff and everything like that, the band was recruiting more people to the school than any other entity on campus. So, you know, without at a college, without students, that's your biggest source of revenue. And if it was not for the band's recruitment, then where would you be? So I get what you're saying, but a lot of these people are going out and becoming educators and keeping the art going. And so are we saying because they don't choose to make, y'all don't choose to make the kind of money you make? This is I think it's crazy, because I couldn't do y'all job, not one day. But you know, I mean, it's kind of like every year it's 200 plus bandsmen. What other area is bringing in that many students to your school? So it's kind of half a dozen in one, 6 in the other. Like, it's kind of, I mean, I see what you're saying, Julian, but who else is recruiting a pool that large?
I mean that's true. I don't disagree with that part, but I think on the back end of that, most of those people who are coming into those programs aren't graduating music majors. In mass, you'll probably get a kinesiotherapy major every now and then, or engineering major, and I think that's what they're looking at. Yeah, you bringing attention to the school, and you're bringing enrollment, but in mass, the programs that are graduating, that's the ones that we're going to feed the most. And I think that's the way that they look at it. Now, am I saying that's right? No, I'm not necessarily saying that's right or wrong. But what I am saying is I'm just saying that may be a perspective that they're coming from. Quan, what you got? Oh, well, you unmuted, so I thought you would.
I'm sorry. No, I agree with everything. Like I said, what Portia's saying. We're at a dichotomy where everything that Portia's saying is absolutely true and right and just and fair. And what we're saying is, from what we've experienced and what we know admins think, well, some of them, not all of them, let me know, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's how some of them get down. It's like they think like money moves like a business. They're not focusing on, you know, Quan Mitchell in the Hobart Taylor building, you know. They're not looking at it like that, because we bring most exposure. Bands bring the most positive exposures to the university. I don't care if it's a parade, whatever the case may be. For Norfolk to be going to the Rose Bowl, you're going to have people on the West Coast thinking about Norfolk now after they see the Legion. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, y'all about to have a whole new wave of students, because I know when we did Angel City Classic 2 years in a row, and then we did Rose Bowl, we had a whole bunch of California students that was coming to Prairie View that was in the band those years until Prophet was passed away. And y'all about to have the same thing. They don't see it like that because they looking at dollars. But for us, we're looking at it logically like, well, if I bring 250 people every year, and if I have the money to recruit 400 band members, how much more money over a time span of 5-6 years? So that means you get your money back on the back end if you front it. I mean, so they just don't look at it like that. Honestly, the Legion should be the most funded thing on campus because I ain't being honest. I mean, I'm not being ugly. I haven't heard anything outside of Norfolk, outside of that. I think your basketball team kind of like made it to like the little playoff like 1 or 2 years, and then we lose in the first round.
The little playoff.
Just like when Prairie View got like when we got there and they played Duke and got smashed. I mean, it ain't no difference. You know how they get down.
We went to the Sweet 16 and beat Mizzou, so that won't no little feat. We had my president Barack Obama betting on them, and we went and smashed their little dreams. Shout out to Cal O'Quinn and them. All right,
yes sir.
Okay.
Well, my bad.
Yeah.
No, we can't talk about the Legion. See, Maya, moving forward. That's how we need to be. I say something. Nah, Maya.
I didn't say you couldn't talk about the Legion. I can't. You had the facts right about the little win we had.
You see, look, when he said it, I was like, oh,
I didn't mean a little. I didn't mean a little like that, like Lil Wayne. My bad. I'm just saying. I'm saying overall, y'all know they put us against the powerhouse. Like they put Southern against Duke one year, and people was like, they may win. Nigga, it's Duke. Shut up. It's Duke, bro. You ain't about to beat Coach K. Stop it. I'm just saying though.
But yeah. I will say, I mean, all of y'all say the same thing, and I do feel this way. Like the band is the face of the university, and honestly, we're not even just talking about historically black colleges and universities. I'm sorry, I don't think about Ohio State for any other reason but the band. I'm just gonna be quite honest with you. I mean,
you think about the Buckeyes football team, bro.
I think about their band first.
Thank you.
Ohio State been good, like good.
Yes, I think.
They won the first national title.
Listen to me, bro.
Playoffs.
Listen, listen, bro. Did you see the drone trumpet joint that they just did?
Nah.
Oh, if you ain't seen it, bro. When I'm telling you, when I think Ohio, the first thing I think about is their band, bro. They just did a field show where they had a drone trumpet, just a bunch of drones that filled out a trumpet and had music notes coming out of the trumpet, bro. Yes. Innovation at its finest, bro. Like, you got to go look at that. But what I'm saying is, like, the band is the face of the school at mostly any university. When I'm like, even now, LSU and Southern. I'm sorry, I don't know too many people who's talking about the football game.
Right. Now that's true. Side note, if you haven't, go and download that Baton Rouge Jigger playlist. It'll bless your soul.
I got you. But you already know I'm gonna do it. All right, man. Let's go ahead and no, but see, that's what I'm saying. Like, everybody's saying about Ohio State football team. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that they're not cold, and I'm not saying that they're not like a team you don't think about. What I'm saying is, most people, especially nowadays, that Ohio has become a big social media thing. People think about the band.
Well, but also, here's what they do, what we don't do. The football team washed the hand of the band.
Facts.
Because the football team is good. They also bless their band because they know if that tuba dude don't dot that I for Ohio,
yep,
that's not like, and they have certain traditions where it's like we need them there. You know what I'm saying? So I think when you operate cohesively like that, could you imagine if Prairie View's football team was like, well, what game we going to? Well, we gotta have a band to come with us. And as a student body, they'd be like, nah, we gotta have a band come with us to support us. That would be a completely different type of rapport. Or if the football team, and this is just a thought, like Jackson State primetime song is the Man Right Here that he always walk out. If I was Jackson State, I'll play it every time he walk out.
But even in what you're saying right now, when you talk about Coach Prime, like, he bigs up the band, and the football team has now in more public form have latched on to, supporting the band program. I mean, and now it's just created this big entity at Jackson State where everybody's looking at it now. Not just the football team because Coach Prime is there, but not everybody's looking at the band. So I do agree. I absolutely agree. One hand washes the other. I 100% agree with that. So yeah, I think it has to work in tandem like that. It should. I would love to see that, happen at PV one day. The football team get hyped as soon as they play Entertainment Tonight. That would be dope. I mean, but I know it'd be halftime and they'd be trying to get their shit together. But I'm just saying.
Not Entertainment Tonight, but something that they add to
sport. No, I know. I'm just saying.
Like if y'all play Behold in the Stands, the football team charge or something. I don't know, but
football team be in the locker room during Behold and pass and review and stuff, so it'd be tight.
But I'm just saying.
I get it.
Yeah, it's like we need. My thing is this. What Maya said earlier: when one win, we all should win. But we don't have that, again, ego. Coaches have egos too. This my thing. Y'all play softer. I mean, whatever, bro.
I have a question because I don't know this about the SWAC. Do y'all go to every game?
Hello.
It works the same way.
Okay, and see, I think that's crazy because especially if you're going into these hostile environments, like you want somebody on your side, somebody in your corner. Like poor little Norfolk State, they went to Marshall last week. That score was all full, but at least they would have had a whole team behind them. We would have been cheering them on and
for
playing
3 points that they made, boy.
Okay, we would have been playing a hole in that other band, so we would have came out with some kind of victory. Like when we went to Rutgers that year, they be setting up these games. They know we can't win. Them people was booing us when we got off the bus, and they tore a foot in our football team. By the end, they was like, "Y'all football team ain't never got to come back, but y'all can come back." They was clapping for us, following us to the bus, so we had a win that day. I mean, their flag captain even came over there to me on the sideline and was like, "How do you get your flags to go the same way?" And I was like, that was a different me at that time.
You spin flag. You should know. But here's the thing, though. And Portia, you're absolutely right on that. But here's the thing, though. Usually when that happens, the football team be mad because they lost.
For real?
And then we getting all yes. I've seen that happen. The football team.
My bad.
Because they
I thought we came home with some kind of win, and you had people cheering you on. No? Okay, my bad.
Football team be upset. They getting their feelings too. All right, let's go ahead and bring in the first person. He said he has to redeem himself.
Bless her special flag heart. Good night. I'm done.
He said he got to redeem himself, man. After he didn't smitted himself twice. I think Quan counted 3 times. Let's bring in Mike, brother Scarfinger. What's going on, bro?
Okay. One thing, there is still a video on YouTube of Rutgers fans talking about the Legion while they were leaving, and they are talking as if that was the best thing they have ever seen in their lives. It probably was, but I've seen that video several times. It's still on YouTube. 2, let's talk about last week. I said in the chat, I got a phone call from my daughter. And if you look at the chat replay, I had stopped talking long before she showed up because I got a phone call from my child. I was being a good dad. And all of a sudden and I muted the show, and then I saw her up there. So right when I got off the phone, I went back to listen to what she had to say. And then, like, y'all were bigging her up. She was talking about the Lord and all that kind of stuff. And I felt weird, like I didn't want to insert my ignorance. And yes, I said it right, ignorance. I didn't want to insert my ignorance in her moment. That was her moment. Y'all were showing her love. And I did, like, after that, I was just kind of like, nah, dog, that's probably not a good look for you. So I let her have her moment, and I didn't want to insert my ignorance. But I did go back and I did watch it, And I still feel the same about the situation.
I just want to know, since you doing all this talking, did you shoot your shot yet?
Yeah,
no, because that was never the point. I didn't tell him to call her. I got a situation. Like what?
You was talking cash.
My situation don't care nothing about bands, so I can be on here and I can talk all the shit I want. But but like that was never actually going to be a thing. I was never going to shoot any shots. I was just saying how I felt about the situation, and mostly I was saying that because that was a more interesting conversation than PV's show. That is what I was saying. That conversation was more entertaining than PV's actual show. When we were all in the chat talking about it, because PV's show was so boring. It didn't do nothing for us.
Say it again, because you feeling that. Say that one more.
Bro, he is
trying to be funny. I'm holding all my professionalism right now.
Like that conversation in the chat was way more entertaining than PV's actual show. I'm sorry to say that. You can feel how you feel about it, but it is what it is to me and the people that were in that chat. I was on Bandhead Network. We were watching it live. And that's exactly how we all felt. Like we were talking about that instead of talking about the actual show. We had nothing for that show. Also, the show was facing the other way. So that's another situation.
That look, before you get on, before you say whatever it is you got to say for today's topic, let me clarify this. A lot of people saw that show from the back.
Yeah.
If you saw that show from the front, sound wise, that show was great.
I went back and watched it later. They sound great. They sound great. I mean, except for that fifth against Texas. Boy, that one trumpet. Listen, he put on his cape and completely messed up a fifth quarter by himself. And even with Texas Southern, the baritones breaking as much as they did, that one trumpet just kept standing out every time PV played something, and it was distracting at a point. It was just absolutely distracting, and you couldn't pay attention to anything else that was going on. First of all, the arrangements, but second of all, like you just could not notice him. This is like that dude was like the FedEx arrow. Once you notice it, you can't unnotice it.
I mean, I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree, but okay. I mean, I because what you're saying, and like I said, I'm gonna respectfully disagree. But the reason why I'm because what you're saying is everything that they played, he was the cause of them sounding bad. That's literally what I'm hearing.
No, I just saying he stood out.
Maybe I interpreted it wrong. Did I interpret that wrong?
I think he stood out so much that we were paying attention to him as opposed to paying attention to the rest of the band.
Okay, so I
respectfully disagree. But
okay, I'm trying. I've been trying. I'm just being respectful. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna show up and be ignorant. You know that's how this is gonna go down.
Well, hold up. Before we get too ignorant, I don't believe I used that word. That's what I was about to say.
But this week, the only thing I said was I didn't think band was a sport, because I mean, I don't know of any sport that doesn't have official rules and doesn't have a score and an official winner. That's the only thing I said.
Yeah, but we have unofficial rules though. Like if we don't. So hold on, just hear me out. So it's kind of like this. So like you just said that TSU basically won against Prairie View. Okay, cool. That's your opinion. You have a right to that. So that the masses and some of the things that we complain about is the masses makes unofficial winners. That's why Julian has always said we need to have certain specific things adjudicated, like Honda, National Battle Bands. So it is a winner.
And
so
I truly believe that. I believe that we should have adjudication, because that will actually make it so that we don't think that Southern won everything.
Yeah, but that okay. Anyway, my whole point is though, but it's kind of like you're contradicting yourself. You just said that basically somebody was better. Texas Southern was better than Prairie View. That's your opinion. Cool. Mm-hmm. So because you feel that way, you declare the winner. Just because.
But I'm not anything official. I'm not anything official. I'm not. I'm just a dude on the internet. Like,
And that matters. I'm trying to be funny, but if that's the case, that matters then. It's a sport though, bro. Like,
okay. I listened to everything that y'all had to say. All I was saying was that was my reason for saying that it's not a sport. And then when you talked about cheerleading and stuff like that, yes, cheerleaders compete against each other when they're at the games and stuff like that, but they have actual competitions that are judged. When we have like Honda and the Natty and stuff like that, it's not actually judged. And I know that's something that you want. It's something that you think should happen, but it's not. It's not judged. So no one officially.
One thing, and I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah.
All right. So in El Paso, there was a judge competition between historically Black colleges and university bands. I know it was Prairie View there. I think it was Valley was there. I think Alcorn was there. That was an adjudicated event.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what year it was, but I know Honda also declared a winner. So in that regard, now can we call band a sport?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. So band is a sport.
Yep.
Okay, so question.
I'm a literal person. I'm sorry to cut you off, Quan. I'm a literal person, okay? And I analyze and reanalyze everything. The actual definition of sport makes us a sport. It says an activity involving physical exertion and a skill in which an individual or team competes against each other or others for entertainment. Not that there's a score. For entertainment. Physical exertion. You after that 8-minute show, and if you like Houston, 10, 12 minutes, you exerted as hell. Okay, that's a sport. And skill. It takes skill to do this. So why it's not a sport?
I just got two questions.
We just said that it was, right?
Okay.
Yeah, we
just said that it was, but also Maya read that definition already like a while ago. You won't hear.
See, I wasn't even here. That's my girl. Okay, that's my girl. All right.
So I just got two questions. So if that's the case, before we declare that it's officially a sport, would you have considered DCI a sport?
Yes.
So that's banned, right?
So I was talking about basically HBCU. But like you told me there was a competition. It was judged. Someone won.
No. But that's banned. That's still banned. It's just a different form of ban.
But they have actual judges. They compete and they have trophies and shit. Like, what are we talking about here?
So we gotta have a
like what
because if that's the case, the trophy for Honda is a check.
But don't everybody get a check?
Everybody gets one, yeah. Everybody get an exhibition trophy too.
Okay.
But everybody doesn't get a ring though for DCI though.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody got a ring. They won.
Yeah, but somebody got a ring. They won. Everybody get a check for Honda,
and they're all judged.
All Hondas weren't judged, but they had some that declared a winner though.
Yeah.
But what
if they declared a winner, it's a sport, right? That's what we just.
We just
settled.
We
finalized that.
Wait, let me ask my second question.
He keep asking me questions about the same shit we already settled. So
yeah,
I don't
we settled that. We settled that part.
Oh, okay. This is my last question. Did you march for college band?
I did not. I wasn't allowed to march.
Okay.
But I have family members that were, and I know all about the process, except for I don't know very much about the process of my cousin becoming KK Psi at Norfolk because of course all of that stuff is secret. But I know pretty much everything else.
Did you experience it?
I did not experience it, but I am aware. And I understand. And I say I never was trying to discredit what you do, how difficult and everything that goes into it is. I never said that. All I said was, if I don't know of any sports that are not judged and there's not a clear winner, because on a week-to-week basis, we are declaring the winners and we are not official. There's no specific rule set for this. Everybody has their own definition of what they wanted to hear. and how they wanted everything to go. So
big bro, you're doing the same thing though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not any different than anybody else, but I'm just saying that I don't feel like my opinion really counts for much. I just come up here and talk shit, but I don't feel like my opinion really counts for anything.
He is the resident crap talker. I will definitely say that. He does a really good job at it. I 100% give him his flowers for his crap. He does a great. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the Tune shirt. That one. If it wasn't for him, because he was talking crap. So I do want to give this brother Scarfinger his flowers, man.
A perfect example of the outside looking in. You are correct, but it wasn't because I didn't have the skill. I'm actually pretty nice with the sticks. I played trumpet for a little bit. I was trash at trumpet. It wasn't because I don't
competition with me and you. I would smoke your ass like a pack of cools.
And you are correct. You are correct because you had more training than me. I'm drum set trained.
That too. Talk about my goddamn school.
No, it ain't my fault. My man went for broke. Like he did the thing. Anyway. He did his thing. But yeah, outside looking in, it wasn't that I don't have the skill or I wasn't allowed. My dad didn't see any value in music. Yeah. I had to take ROTC instead of getting in band.
That's fair.
And I went to Menchville out of the way. So
that's fair.
I didn't want to be in that band out of the way. So that just is what it is.
All right, brother Scarfinger, man. I appreciate you for coming in and setting.
I'm trying to get at me in the chat.
Happened on last week, brother. We appreciate you. You say what?
Quan trying to get at me in the chat.
All right, man. We appreciate you, man.
Peace, y'all. I'm glad I had a chance to.
Man,
I was being a good dad last week. I was not trying to.
That's 100%. Hey, being a good dad is 100% important.
Yeah, absolutely. My child just started high school. It's rough out here in these streets.
Oh yeah, I know. I get you.
All right, peace out,
brother. Have a good one, bro.
Oh Lord. All right, big face. Hey man, yeah. Good job, Portia. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
God is still working in me.
You
hear me? Listen.
I'm so proud of you.
These are the moments I'm proud of myself,
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud. She was biting. She kept it on me. She wanted to hit that unmute button like 20 times. Let's bring this new brother into the room. I see him all the time, especially on you and Maya and Sean show. UC, I want to make sure I say it. UC Dance. What's going on, UC Dance? How you doing?
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Good. Welcome. What you got for us?
So, two things. I don't have any SWAC hours, none of that. I didn't march in college. I wanted to, but I chose PWI for my personal reasons. But they gave a better package overall, and I'm all about the money. So, but neither here nor there. I'm a band geek by nature. I've coached. I still, kind of on a retirement year this year, but I've been coaching for the last couple of years, mainly auxiliary. But I've worked with some of the greats here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas. I've worked with some of the greats here in Dallas and have come up under some of the greats here in Dallas as well. So even working with mass band and stuff. So I'm definitely into all the conversations on all ends of the spectrum. But to get to the point, and thank y'all for letting me on the platform, but to get to the point, my question is more coming from the secondary high school world going into the collegiate world. My question is more of, or maybe my statement, I know in my experience coming from where I've done coaching wise with auxiliary, because that's mainly what I've coached, I've had to buy stuff, uniforms, flags, poles, everything. Like I probably have about $3,000 to $5,000 worth of equipment sitting in my garage right now, from my experience. Hitting the topic of what you're saying as far as the band and the support and the finances, how do we, and I guess I got my own answer because I've promoted a lot of people to go to HBCUs, but I want to hear what y'all have to say. How do we promote our kids to want to go to the HBCUs? Because I've sent several. I have some out there now. But not only promote them, but to show them it's more than just them having a good time and promoting their art or their love of the art. Because there's only a few schools that I can name off the top of my head that actually gives scholarships decent enough to the instrumentation part of it, but also even scholarships to the auxiliary part of it. And I know there's a few schools I've sent some members to because they do give great scholarships and help them promote for that school. But going to some of these bigger name schools where scholarships may be scarce or resources may be scarce or whatever the case may be, how do we promote that? Because I've been promoting a lot of HBCUs, sending kids to HBCUs, and it's kind of like one of those catch-22s where it's like you want them to go have the experience, but I also want you to get the education and the money off of the same part. If I know there's a better package for you, I'm gonna always promote the better package because I want you to get the best deal 360. And that's kind of how I look at it. So that's kind of my statement question, if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, I'll tell you from my perspective. My students, I've always told them, being at a historically Black college and university is one hell of an experience that I probably will never, ever in life take back. But I will always tell my students to go to the place that services them best academically. That's just how I am. That's how I am. That's how I've always been. Because at the end of the day, when you get that degree, you still have to go and get a job. Yes, we want to be able to do what we do and support our universities and all that kind of stuff. But when you graduate, you got to get a job, and then you're not going to graduate in your SWAC hours or your MEAC hours. I don't even know if MEAC hours is a thing, but I can tell you right now, we wouldn't talk about no damn MEAC hours in the MEAC. But you're not going to graduate in that, and nobody's going to give a dang, per whatever you graduate in about where you march. They're going to look at where your degree came from. So typically with my students and my past students, I've always told them that make the best decision that's going to produce the best outcome on the back end. Now, if you want to just talk specifically band, I've also had different conversations with my students. Some of my students were like, well, Mr. Luke, I get what you're saying, but I still want to do blah, blah, blah. I say, okay, well, you got an option. Well, here's your options. Option number one, go to the HBC that you want to go to, and I tell them, the ebbs and the flows of that HBCU. You might get, like anybody who comes to me, I am not a biased person. I would love to send every student that I've ever had to Norfolk State, but that's just not going to happen, right? Because I'm also a realist. I'm not, me being in Texas, I'm not going to tell a kid, hey, you should go to Norfolk State and be in the band when I know that the scholarships aren't as great. I just know that. So I'm not going to allow them to be able to go there and then struggle, because the truth of the matter is I came from Texas and went to Norfolk State and I struggled. I did, because there wasn't much bread being given out, and a lot of the stuff that Doc was getting, and no shade on Doc, a lot of that stuff was in there was loans and grants, mostly loans. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to give a kid bad advice like that. I'm going to say, go to the place that's going to service you best, but you can still have your great experience. Just because you go to a HBCU that may get cranked on a lot of times don't mean you won't have a great experience. I mean, that's just the truth. On average, we smashed Howard quite a few times, but you can't tell a person from Howard that they wasn't having a great time in that band program. You just can't. So my point is, tell them to go somewhere that's going to service them. Now, here's the other thing that I usually tell my kids. If you want to go to a HBCU, that's fine. Go there, get your experience, and then transfer. I've seen people do that too. Get your experience that you want to have at that historically Black college and university, and then if you feel like that's not servicing you the way you need to be serviced as far as academically or whatever, transfer to the school you want to go to, and that may be a PWI. But then you'll be able to say that you did get that experience. So I tell kids all a gamut of things, because every kid is not the same. Every kid is not going to process one bit of information one way. And so I always like to give kids options to let them be able to navigate through life themselves and make the best decision that they need to make. Now, there have also been times where I have sat down with kids and I've researched certain schools that they wanted to go through and say, this school ain't the best for you because of your major. This school is blah, blah, blah. these are the options that you should pick. You should probably take it home to your parents and make a decision, or blah, blah, blah. Or that's usually what I do. So that's my process. I could be completely pissed wrong about that, but I know that in the end, I've always, my kids have always thanked me for just being able to have that conversation with them and give them those options. And they felt better about making those decisions. So that was just me. I don't know if Quan or Portia, you got anything to add to that?
I'm different. I want all our people to go to HBCU, and then you can go and get whatever you get. Like my line sister, okay, she is the smartest person I've ever met. She left Norfolk State and went to NYU and got a master's in social work and in counseling. And then she went on to Hofstra and got a master's degree in journalism. And so from an HBCU, how well you do can take you anywhere. I'm just getting my master's degree and I made great money at my job, but I did well at Norfolk State. And then, I've built myself up in my career and showed them what I could do. You call me at work, I'm a totally different person because it's about how you execute. Is an HBCU for everybody? Absolutely not. But I knew that it was what was for me. Especially, all of my mom, my grandmother, everybody in my family went to a HBCU and they built great lives for themselves. Now that's not for everybody, but I kind of in my mind wanted to take care of home first. And that's not everybody's approach, but it was made for my people, and I don't know that I could have flourished. I could do it now. I'm getting my master's at a PWI and I'm doing great. But 18 years old, the person I was would not have survived at ODU. I would not have survived, somewhere else. When I started falling off, my teacher was like, saw me in the hallway, like, girl, what's going on? I read your last paper. This is not your work ethic. I don't know what you're doing. My line sister, one of my other line sisters, was a pre-nursing major, and it was a class she needed, and she went and took it at ODU, and it was 300 people in her class, and half the time if she got there late, she couldn't sit down. So, she struggled. And so that didn't, and not to say that she couldn't make it at ODU, it was just a totally different atmosphere. And so you just have to, to Luke's point, you have to do what's best for you. But that experience I got at Norfolk State, and I'm going to tell you how my teacher in that sociology department would rip my paper to shreds. That helped me. So now I'm not struggling in this master's program. I'm flying through this. And now they got this thing called Grammarly. I don't even know how anybody is failing at anything because it does most of the work for you. I don't know how these kids are struggling. But when they first told me about it, I was like, excuse me? And literally the papers that I'm submitting have so few errors in it. I get emails from them weekly, like, you were killing it this week. You had higher numbers than 98% of the submissions. And I'm like, well, what in the world? But they ripped us to shreds because we were at an HBCU and they wanted us to be able to go out in the world and represent the institution well. So I'm killing it all these years later, so I am pro HBCU. I know it's not for everybody, but I am as many people as we can funnel to these institutions to keep them going because they were started because nobody else would take us. You know what I'm saying? So that in my mind is why I wanted to go to a HBCU. Everybody is different strokes for different folks, but as many people as I can funnel. Now, let me say this from the auxiliary coach perspective. Part of that is having, and here we go, talking about having the people in place. There was not a lot of people that was auxiliary back then getting money. It's still not a lot now, but it's all about how you advocate. You got to have somebody in that seat, to say, I ain't asking for 10 G's, but I got a situation where this girl needs $2,000. can you meet that need? Now, I don't expect that, I don't anytime soon that auxiliary will get what everybody else is getting, but we should be able to advocate for the fill in the gap. You know what I'm saying? At the very least. I'm not saying that I agree with that, but I do advocate for my girls. If there's a need there, and that's how I approach it. But I'm pro HBCU and I'm pro I need my girls, so you're gonna help them out.
I'm just be real quick. When it comes for me, I am very, very much so pro HBCUs. I think for HBCUs, it teaches us how to love yourself. It teaches you how that when you sit at the table with other cultures, how you can be in a room with everybody else, but still accept who you are as an African American. And it also honestly holds you accountable and gives you a push that you can accomplish and do anything. Now, the truth is, you're going to endeavor through something at a HBCU. That's just period. However, what I do believe is the HBCU culture has a spirit from our ancestors that teaches you tenacity like none other. I've experienced both as well 2 times over. I went to HBCU and I also went to 2 PWIs as well. And in those experiences, even when some of my assignments were not the greatest, you have this weight on you that you feel like I represent this historical Black college that makes you want to do better, because there's not a lot of us that are attaining master's degree or terminal degrees. And then those terminal degrees or master's degrees are majority at a PWI. So we represent them. So that may be their first time hearing about a Prairie View or Norfolk or wherever. But overall exposure is what is going to motivate your kids to attend those universities. Exposure. And that's why college trips are important, for them to see the fun side, but allow them to talk to the students that attend, as well as talk to the professors, how they gonna get down. Because I did have a professor that called my mama. Like, she was like, hey, yeah, he messing up and he about to fail out. And I know you don't want to go back to New Orleans. And I was like, and my mama was like, put him on the phone. You're not going to have a lot of teachers like that. If that was a PWI, I would have just failed. I was another number. Or y'all remember what happened to that young kid? Nah, because they're already moved on to the next. At HBCU, they build relationships. Now, but also have them research, do they have their major? And how many graduates are graduating from that program? And how much money are they making? Like, I actually have a senior checklist that all my students have to do. And then they have to tell me, all right, you want to go to Prairie View? What's the acceptance admissions process? Okay, what's your major going to be? Okay, well, they don't have your major there. So you might not want to go to that institution, even though it's a HBCU. So walk through that process with them. And like, we're here to help. We can share your information as well, our information with you as well, because I do promote HBCUs, but I'm that type of person like Luke. Go where the bag at, because a lot of the kids that I service are first generation college students as well. So we have to be cognizant is that as well. But also email some of those directors how much you'll be willing to give my dancer student. Hey, this is his or her audition tape. How much are you willing? And then negotiate with some of these band directors, because it's doable. It's out there.
I don't know what. Oh, there you go. He was like, as soon as Quad finished, it was like light off. I was like, God dang! All right.
All right, I had a call come through. I did have 2 statements real quick, and then I'm done, if y'all will let me say it. But thank y'all all for the advice. It's good stuff, because I try to get knowledge from different people, because it is different with each university and each institution to try to send somebody somewhere. And I've been successful, but I'm always looking for new ways to do what I do. My 2 comments real quick, and I'm done. Comment 1, I wanted to say that for everything y'all touched on tonight, definitely agree with it. But just wanted to say, I think Tuskegee really hit the foundation, because I've been saying similar things y'all talked about tonight with some of the local band directors here in Dallas that I've been talking about certain things. And I really believe that you have to somewhat times sit out to get the results that you want. That's just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. The other thing I wanted to say was in reference to Brother Scarfinger before me. When it comes to the PV TSU game, I was there, and I actually sat right above TSU, supporting one of my students over there. And I don't believe it was I've heard a lot of different people's statements, and everybody's opinion is theirs, but A lot of people trying to say it was a massacre. Was definitely not that. PV sounds amazing, and their volume is very rich. They gave what PV gives, but if you stand in front of PV, you will feel them. That's just my statement. I think when it comes to PVTSU battle or statement that he made, I think it really just comes down to song selection and arrangement, what your preference is, because both bands really did well at the game. I don't think there was one. I was right in front of PV getting all their full sound, and I was right above TSU in PV stands hearing what TSU provided as well. And both bands did well. I really think it comes down to arrangement and song selection. What is your preference? Because neither band was, to me, hit or miss. I think both did well for the first game out the season. That's all. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, no problem. And before you go, I do want to say that's really what I said at the beginning when we first started talking about it. I think it's one of those situations where you just got to be there, because I do agree when you're in front of Prairie View, and this used to happen even while we were there. They would be people who would be online who would be like, man, Prairie View sounds like this, and then people would get in front of them, and they'd be like, God damn, like So I do think there is that part of that I think a lot of people miss out or just miss, and I think that we relate only to the clip. So I definitely agree with you, man. But no, I appreciate you, man. And you say you in the Dallas area. I know you said you were talking to those band directors. I was a DISD band director at the time. So I know what it's like talking to some of those directors sometimes. I know what's going on in them districts. I know what's going on in the band room. So just keep talking to them and try to do your best to try to get through them as much as possible, man. And that's the way change is affected. And I think Quan put his information in the private chat. So if you ever want to reach out to him, also if you ever want to just reach out to us, you can hit up our email as well. So either one of those, and if you hit up an email, I can easily filter it out to anybody who it needs to go to. But appreciate you, man. I definitely appreciate you. I see you in everything that we do. So appreciate you 100%.
No problem. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
You have a blessing. All right. The man, the myth, the legend. Nah, I ain't gonna say that he ain't no myth, no legend, but he's definitely part of the family. What's going on, Justin? What's going on, brother? I thought he was gonna fall asleep. What's up?
I was, but nah. Great show, y'all. I'm joking at that Scarfinger. I don't care what you said. You folded. You folded. TT came on this thing, you got scared and you folded. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Anyway, for real, man. But this was a great first week of band, if you ask me. I do agree with y'all. I wanted to go to the Texas Southern and PV game, but I thought that PV was gonna put the band at the end of the stadium, and I wasn't feeling that. But when I seen the clips, I was like, "Damn, I could have went to that game." But I went to Alabama State and Miles, and it was a good game. PV takes Southern first. People cap. Texas Southern did what they had to do. The arrangements was sticking. They played together. Everything was good. They kicked ass. But PV wasn't as bad as people trying to make them. You know what I'm saying? I do understand what Scarfinger was talking about. That one trumpet. Somebody in that trumpet section was tripping, but it wasn't like that detrimental to what it was doing, if you ask me. And I love this direction that PV going in. They going in a direction of we're actually showing y'all we can use all these people that we have. That's what it sounds like to me. You know what I'm saying? So just my 2 cents. And it was lit on some shit. So I'm like, this week one, I'm expecting them to beat the shit out of somebody throughout the season. You know what I'm saying? From that performance that they gave, it just, to me, Texas Southern was the better band. And when PV wasn't bad, people just cap when they say that. I watched it from different angles or whatever, but I know being there in person is a different thing. That's what that. I got stuck. I got everything happened to me bad this weekend. I stuck at the airport. Lightning struck my hotel. Yeah, I did. Everything. Right. I was talking about the fire alarm went off. They reimbursed the whole hotel their money. I was trying to fly from Birmingham to Ohio to go watch the Central State and damn Winston-Salem game. Nobody go to the small school. I was trying to show some love, but I got stuck in the damn weather. But Miles, a smaller band this year, and they got a big ass sound, and they do sound good. I'm supposed to feel proud tomorrow. I'm looking at this weather. I might not be going to Southern Heritage this weekend because it's like no rain. Alabama State though, they living like that, fool. Like I was a non-believer. And I was telling the kids on the sideline, I was like, y'all did okay last year. I need to see something. You see them trombones? They living like that. I can't wait to somebody do a damn comparison video. Luke, you need to do that. A comparison video of this Silk Sonic. I got everybody playing. I got two from National Battle Band. I got them. I'm gonna let you know. There's trombones over there singing that Silk Sonic song. So that could be a comparison you can do on the channel, Luke. They living like that. So
I know my lane. I stay in my lane. But you never know. Somebody might join the network that just be like, hey, that's what we doing. If they do, hey, I'm gonna welcome it.
I think so. I think it need to be done. But because I deal with man, this in trombones outraged, any baritone and tubas was humping. What I wanted to say, Southern and Florida Memorial sound good. I don't care what nobody say. You know what I'm saying? It's just you brought a knife to a gunfight, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? We used to fight with knives. They sound good. They ain't try to do nothing they wasn't used to doing, and they sounded damn good. And Southern just, oh my God, Jesus, them people ain't you play with. But yeah, man, it was a good overall weekend of band. I'm trying to watch some whole damn battles. I don't know what I'm doing this weekend, not because I ran in Memphis.
Hey, Justin.
What?
That skin I'm in, that Southern play.
You know what? Let's go to PV. That skin I'm in, I think that I feel the direction it was going in. People try to say, like, why y'all try to do, because Southern, it just looked bad when Southern played theirs that way. But I liked something about it. I just feel like it just needed to be executed a little better. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm going to get on the PV train this semester because I'm believing in them. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody trying to give them flag because I'm thinking like this. I'm looking at this schedule. They seen Texas Southern. They're going to see them no more. They're going to see Southern, and, Southern on Southern. But what the rest of y'all going to do? That's what I'm looking like. You know what I'm saying? It's a long season. I don't know if they're traveling or not, but we'll see. But that's going to really like that Moonlight, though. What that Moonlight. Yeah, so
real quick, and then Justin, I'm gonna let you finish up. But real quick, fun fact: a lot of people don't realize that skin I'm in we played in 2012.
The same one PV played?
2012 Shreveport Classic against Southern.
Well, 2012 was a hard year, bro.
Was a hard year?
It may have been a hard year. I'm just letting you know we played it.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go check it out. But I like. I mean, listen. I was listening to people talk. I'm like, what is y'all? Sometimes listen. I'm one to talk shit. You know what I'm saying? But some of the comments they did. Yeah, I'm not. Granted, they did do the damn thing. I'm not taking away from Texas Southern because that whatever song that was Javon wrote, that might be song of the year so far right now. That damn arrangement, whatever. But back to the Eagles.
That arrangement was sweet. But go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm waiting for someone to top that because we don't know. But the band director Eagles thing y'all was talking about, I think this may sound weird, but I think a part of that ego thing comes from social media too. You know what I'm saying? So like a lot of band directors act like they don't listen to social media, what people are saying, but in today's climate, I feel like you have to have some kind of ear to the streets. And y'all was saying how it could be detrimental to the program, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I took from it. I think it's okay to have a ego if you definitely could back it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it only looks down upon when you got this high and mighty ego, but your band are you living off the band's legacy, if that makes sense? You know what I'm saying? So I don't have a problem with band directors having the ego as long as they can like back it up pound for pound. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thoughts on that. What y'all think?
I mean, I think. Oh, go ahead, go on.
Oh no, I was just saying like, I don't feel like you have room. In my opinion, you have room for ego. Like, put it on the field. I think it should be a sense of like when you sit in that seat as a band director. I feel like we've lost a sense of professionalism. You got to realize, in my opinion, that's the highest seat of all for us for HBCUs. That's the highest seat that you can get for an HBCU band director. And so you're inspiring a next generation. And I think some of the problem is with social media, we're inspiring the next YouTube arranger. We're inspiring the next one to kind of be like Suge Knight. You don't want your band director to be in the camera, come to such and such university. When that's cool to niggerdom, to us clowning, but that's not professional. Like it's a time and a place for that. I really appreciate, and I can say this, what brother Kelvin at LSU and what Kedrick is doing. there's crap being talked. Of course, you know, this is a big event that's taking place in Baton Rouge this weekend. But both of them was like, hey, we appreciate each other. Both of us are SWAC graduates. Both of us are HBCU graduates. And it's a way that we have to carry ourselves because now this limelight is bigger than just our people. So if they see us going back and forth, yeah, smash LSU, it's kind of like it goes back to two black men arguing when there are two professionals at higher academic institutions. So it's like we have to carry ourselves a different way. So it's like we got to pick and choose our battles. Let the people speak for us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why God bless you, Justin. You could brag on me when I'm a band director at the college level, and I could text you, hey, yeah, you did see that. But I ain't gonna be able to put that on.
But if I show you my text mail, it's crazy you say that like that. And that's crazy. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? You're absolutely right.
And so you gotta move like that because you don't know what sponsor I may be ruining by, you know, acting stupid on the internet. Like, you don't know what bridge you may burn. Be like, yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it, but look how he acting, man. So I think this, like, what they're doing and what they're speaking to each other. First of all, they're two black men. Like I say, both of them graduated out of the SWAC. Both of them are frat brothers. And what Calvin did a step further, he posted a picture of the late great band director of LSU and Dr. Greggs to be like, this is what's in our front office. Stop trying to make it like a north side, south side, Baton Rouge type thing. Y'all could do that, but we not.
But I think that was, and you said what I was gonna say before you started talking. I think that a lot of the issue right now is just the fact that back in the day, even when there was this quote unquote beef, there was a professionalism, but they were friends. Those directors were friends. Like they would talk whatever crap or whatever, or, you know, leave it on the 50 or leave it on the field. But at the end of the night, they'd be at the same crib drinking and having a great time. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like now it's like, I really don't like you. So I really do appreciate what, and you bringing that up, I do appreciate what Kelvin and Kedrick are doing because it's showing not only the solidarity between two band programs, but it's also showing that two black people can be leaders and exist, and we can also, you know, be cordial and be professional.
I also think that, and I've seen this go bad, some of these kids they take this stuff literal. Like, you'll never see Bethea on social media saying anything crazy. You know, he might talk a little trash a little bit on a live or something, but he don't really go in. But there are some band directors who do, and then it leads to physical altercations at a battle of the bands because you've been talking junk on the internet all week. So they hyped up and they really don't like people they don't even know because you've been talking junk, creating memes and whole videos about this other school. To me, you should have been using that time to practice, but that's just my opinion. You got a lot of time on your hands to be shooting whole videos about this battle of the bands. But these kids don't know how to filter that stuff. Like, we talk cold trash about Virginia State and all these other schools that we used to battle, but I have friends that marched at these schools during this time that I'm still cool with. It was about the business, but it wasn't beef. These kids take this shit literal now, and they really want to fight, and that make us all look crazy because then we all on World Star, and these supposed to be colleges, but y'all in here fighting over some band. No.
You always do that. You put yourself on mute, man. You talking.
I get y'all point, but I have a question, or basically a suggestion. I don't know what it is gonna be. Listen, with Drumline, you know what I'm saying? I know I look at Drumline as the ultimate band movement, and I'm sorry, I was more of a fan of Maurice Brown, band director, his shit talking, than I was Dr. Lee. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't that much of a problem over there with him. So I guess the band director that dude, he had ego, correct? Right? Big ego. So what was so not wrong with him getting away with it? You know what I'm saying? Versus band directors now.
Well, let me say this. I mean, you brought up that movie, and I've been saying it since since that movie came out, and I really started saying it too once I became a director.
It
That movie
did
was
more
a gift
harm than good.
and a curse, because yes, there was exposure to historically black colleges and universities and bands and blah 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 blah, but there was so much happening in that movie that actually made band worse. And that example
Like what? Please tell me.
that example to me is exactly what we're talking about.
I can
You realize they made
from a drumline perspective, because you had literal Devin Miles kids coming up thinking, well, I'm gonna just chop and I'm not gonna learn how to read because they're gonna accept me anyway because I'm cold. Like
what happens in drum sections nowadays,
bro? I'm telling you,
and they got glazed once they got there too.
That movie did more harm than good. Don't get me wrong.
Oh no, man! I think,
it was some good things coming out of that, but it was also some bad things. And you actually,
I think it did more
brought
good
up one of the bad things. Like
I don't think it was bad though. He was a lit band director. He was. He brought the flavor to the movie though.
But do you realize what actually happened in that relationship with those two? Because if you go and pay attention to the movie, at first he was Dr. Lee's assistant. So then what?
And then starts looking at ass there. He's the dumb.
Whatever. But what I'm saying is he was his assistant and then got a job as a leader at another university. And now I don't like you. Like that is an issue, because that is perpetuating a stereotype that we don't need within our band programs as black head band directors. We don't need that kind of thought process going through. Well, once I get my own band, then I can just talk shit to this dude and not like him. But we work together. If it wasn't for that man, he probably wouldn't even have some of the information that he would have to lead that other program.
Prime example.
I get what you're saying, Luke.
Watch this, Justin. When Brian left, everybody was kind of like making the rift between Brian and Texas Southern. And the first thing after, I think, the Southern game, Southern played TSU, Kendrick was like, man, congratulations to my little brother, blah, 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 such and such. Like, it was one thing I must say about Southern that I got to respect. Whatever riff you think they may have, they did it quick. And I think that's how it's supposed to be. To piggyback from the last comment, you were saying why people were saying PV did so bad, because most of them people were from PV, and that's the problem.
Well, you think there was more PV people talking shit about PV than other places?
I know it.
That's a conversation.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be quiet because
God damn.
I'm gonna shut up. I ain't gonna say that.
And that we talked about that one time. It be the people that I don't know.
Own people ain't your people.
It be on people.
We got in our mind that the version of whatever program we were in is the best version of it, and that is crazy to me. Anything that is not growing is dead. It is lifeless, and that's nuts to me. You can feel how you want to feel. I'll say. And I have said some stuff to Julie and them, even when we was down there about the Legion. But I ain't gonna never bash it publicly. You out your monkey mind, because I wouldn't even be the person that I am today without that. I don't even understand that. That doesn't make sense to me.
Listen,
how our own people can bash the programs that made you. And if you was at half the time when I hear people do that, they was trash when they was in the band anyway. But I digress.
But see, that's the thing. Portia has come on this show live and said, hey, the Legion does this differently. The Legion does different. And I will sit there like, they do that? Really? They do that? Wow. I will never say, hey, that's trash. I don't. Now, if me and Portia have a conversation behind closed doors, like she just said, she came to Houston, we had a conversation that went a little deeper than what we talk about live. But I will never, ever do that in a public forum. I just will not do that. Now, I will say this. During this show, I went on the Facebook and I scrolled down my timeline and I saw some things from some old alumni, not from Norfolk State, that had some things to say that I personally just was like, how do you say that in a public forum? But that goes back to Quan's point. I'm going to leave it at that.
Feel how you feel, but you only even have a voice in this space because of that experience. So how you can publicly bash that institution is crazy to me. And when people from the Legion do it, I just be like, what's wrong with you?
I ain't never seen nobody from the Legion do it.
No.
Oh.
Not, it's rare. You know, sometimes I'll see some stuff and I'll be like, bro, why you had to say that? Like, why? What's the point of that? It's
but typically, and like I said, I've never seen nobody do it, and that's probably why. Because if you see somebody do it and somebody says something, they'll usually take it down.
Absolutely.
I'm assuming that because I've never seen it.
Right.
So,
and a lot of time it's subliminal, and it may stand out to me and may not stand out to anybody else. But we have a different mentality about that. We had this conversation in Houston. You Legion first. Your sections, they matter, but they don't really matter around here. You Legion first. So that might play into why it's different, you know, for us. But I don't get that. For Prairie View, any school, you ride for your school. You know, that's just what it is. Now, whatever you feel personally, you feel personally. But that's crazy to me.
Check your affiliation. That's what I say it all day.
Dang, I didn't even pay attention to that. Like, maybe I'm gonna definitely go back and look now. But since we're on the topic, I remember I didn't get on the talk about it. What was y'all honest opinion about that?
I'm about to say, this is gonna be the final thought because we got to get ready to get out of here, bro. We've been here. Portia ain't ate nothing. She just came in and just chew gum make you more hungry. So this is gonna be the last one. What'd you say?
What was your honest thoughts of that battle?
Which one?
The PV and Texas battle.
Oh, we already talked about that at the beginning. You got to go back and look at that. Yeah.
I'll go check it out, y'all.
Yeah, that was a conversation we had at the top. See, I'm trying to cut it short because we gotta get on out of here. You just go back and watch the beginning.
I'm definitely go back and watch. I'm gonna comment on it too.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do this down weekend because this weather ain't looking good at all down here. I won't go to Southern Heritage, but raining. I ain't.
Hey, in all fairness, before we came to Houston, my weather said it was supposed to be raining for 2 weeks straight. Now, did we get a little drizzle out there? Yeah, we did, but it didn't ruin nothing. So, you know, hey, pray to God and take a chance. There you go.
Be in that hotel room, Luca on money bag. But all right, y'all, man, go, man.
All right, this has been one heck of a show, and this is one of the longest shows that we've had in a while. So I am not gonna run no commercials. I'm ready. I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I know Quan got to leave the office. I don't even know. You got new keys to the office? Because you just in there today.
Yeah, I was in that, but I had to do some work while we was shopping to be more executive around here.
Got you. I got you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get ready to wrap it all up, man. This has been a great conversation. So let's start from the top and work our way down. Quan, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture, brother?
Like I'm gonna say it again. I'm a real alumnus of Prairie View A&M University. Check your affiliation.
Oh, that was it. Okay, that was it. Portia, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
You got to do better. I don't encourage anybody. There's always something that can be improved upon. So you pointing that out on the internet does nothing to change it. Be a part of the change you want to see. If it's that bad at your institution, try to change it. Try to contribute. Try to, involve yourself in the change, because you putting it on the internet does nothing. The other thing I'm going to say is, with all of these situations we discussed, people only do what you allow. So if we start raising the issue, and that's why I'm glad that Roland Martin did what he did, he called it out. So it's more likely to get addressed. But I think this gives us all momentum. I know we've had some conversations since that came out and pointed out some of the things, and maybe we need to address some things. Maybe we need to advocate for ourselves, more, that there is attention on it. So if we have to be our own advocates and sounding boards at these institutions and those who are part of these programs, and alumni have a lot of power if we exercise it. So that's all I have.
Exercise it, absolutely. Exercise it the right way. Because alumni can hurt you as well. Good Lord. And I've seen that happen too. But no, what I will definitely say, first of all, we definitely had a great conversation today. I think it was well needed. I do appreciate Roland Martin for bringing that to the forefront. I do not believe in this whole keep this thing behind closed doors, in-house, our house, all that kind of stuff. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And having the conversations about it, which is why we have this show, is definitely important, because we got to put that information out there, because some people just don't know. And then some people don't care. But then the people who don't care, oh dang, what happened to Quan? Oh, Smiths. But the people who don't care will then get uprising from the people who didn't know, because now they want to actually create change. So we got to do better. We got to keep pushing and moving forward, and trying to make sure that we are making the change in our universities and all of that jazz. Something's going on right here next to me. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, but we got to get ready to roll out of here, man. This has been a super duper long show, but it's been a great, fun, necessary, needed show. Please make sure you guys go check out the Patreon. Also, you can go to the store and hit up realtalkthattalk.com, and you can get 30% off of your purchase. I need to do some more shirts, man. We didn't had so many daggone sayings. I gotta go. I think didn't you write down one, or Maya wrote down one, or somebody did? It was something we were doing outside. Or when we were eating. I don't remember. Yeah, it was so many of them. But man, this has been a great show. I will. Oh, you gonna say something?
No, I was saying it was multiple over that weekend, so I don't know. We had said so, but put that on a shirt like 3 times when we were in Houston.
Absolutely, we missed all of those good moments. And also, I was checking my wife to make sure she sent you the video of Bucky's. One of these days, I'm gonna post that video up just so people can see how amazed you were at Bucky's. But other than that, man, this has been a great episode. You guys have been great, man. You guys keep hanging with us, and we will see you all next week.